Chair Robin. We're good to start.
We ready?
You are.
Actual vote taken today. Important.
I will be taking notes and notes on the meeting, and we have a reporter here.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna call the meeting to order of the West Tampa Community Area Community Advisory Committee, February 23rd at 5:34 p.m. at the Hillsborough Education Foundation, Tico Hall at 2306 North Howard Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33607. Want to thank everybody. Happy New Year. I think the last time we met was around May, November. We didn't have a meeting in December. Give everybody a chance to be refreshed. A lot of things have occurred. A lot of things have happened. Also, we'll see if you have the latest and greatest policy procedures in front of you. Make sure that we may vote on tonight, and I don't know what the other. But let's go through roll call, and then I'll make the announcement. Can you give us a roll call and see if we got a forum?
Joseph Robinson,
Here.
Carlos Ramirez,
Here.
Michael Brachia,
Here.
Sandra Sanchez. Here. Janice Williams. Here. Bobby Wilson.
Here.
All right. Delphine Jones. Here. Ian Baston. Jeanette Benson. Here. Bobby Wilson.
Here.
Wait, yeah, okay, you're on here twice. David Fernandez. David. Okay. I'll complete with.
No.
Okay.
And, Taylor Young and, Walter Smith, you going from the notes of meeting, and they weren't here necessarily, so you.
I was here on November and I'm not on here.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We realize that we can establish. You want to go over that again? Because we missed a few people.
No, so Walter Smith is Walter Smith virtual. Okay, so he's just not here, and then we have Cynthia and Tina. Okay, we're good.
Okay, so we have a forum.
Yes,
We
sir.
have Walter Smith and Naeem absent.
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, that takes care of that. So we have a quorum. As you can see, we do not have Mr. Jesus Nino. It's sort of like a late breaking news. They get late breaking this month. I'm sure you should forget where I was informed. And I think you guys all received the email saying, I can see two emails, one from Jesus and one from everybody, one from the city, giving us some information as to what happened. And it was overkill was the economic development over there. So we want to wish him luck and thank you for everything he's done to get us to where we are. So we now will have, actually, we got a hood parade here. We actually got Mr. Practice that is having the duties of Mr. Jesus Nino. This is Eric Moody, who's here. And then also tonight, Miss Andrea Rochevin, is she gonna be here? She's back here to make sure we get the notes. And you can see they're really extemporary notes that were taken, except for a few miscues, my name, she was there present. Okay, with that, we have roll call. That's my open comments. We got a lot of work to get done. A lot of things have happened since November, and we're gonna get into it. So we're gonna start with public comment. Is there anyone here that wants to have public comment? You will have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone here in person? Yes. Mike?
I'm there. Military voice. Thank you, Omar Garcia, developing over 2111 North Albany. I just wanted to put a special shout out to Mr. Fernandez and the rest of the TPD officers in District 1. They have done a wonderful job cleaning up a lot of the drug activity that was taking place on Pine Street, as well as the Star Grocery. It's cleaned up quite a bit. It's looking a lot nicer over there. It's still, every once in a while, a couple guys that haven't gotten the message yet, but pretty much I think the idea has gotten out there. Also want to reiterate the fact that we do want to try and see about getting Pine Street and Walnut opened up. I think that's something that I've actually talked to several of the neighbors about and want to see happen. So anything that I can do to help out in that type of endeavor, please let me know. We want to make it happen. I think it'd be great for the community to have to really open up those spaces, okay? And that's all I have. Thank you, guys.
Okay, is anyone else for public comment? 8 minutes. Going once? Going twice? That's here present. Is anyone public comment that's virtual?
Hello,
Mike.
can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike Randolph.
Okay, there it is. So in 2019, the West Tampa CDC presented its most recent initiative, the Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Center. What we need back then was that there was changes coming to the job market. And those job changes would change the paradigm related to workforce as we know today. We also understood that technology was going to be the changing narrative in this time, in this period. Let's talk about technology, the bad and the good. Will you have a job in the next few years? A recent study was done on 750 businesses by way of what's known as consumer builders. They state that 37% of those 750 business leaders laid off employees in 2023. In 2024, they're talking about laying off 44% of their workforce. The good news, artificial intelligence is also changing the narrative. Low-income students in public schools now can increase their grades. They can do so in terms of being able to artificial intelligence provide them with personalized feedback, adaptive learning skill, and children support like no other course has ever done before. Artificial intelligence also can help people, especially in low-income neighborhoods, to get jobs. It also can help people to change their skill sets. What's most important is the way it would help in public schools to change the narrative. Our schools are failing us. Not only would it do that, nonprofits who make under $30,000, and it's 1/3 of them, can benefit from artificial intelligence. Join us on the 27th as we begin to talk about this and other things that artificial intelligence can do, because it can be this year. The future is not yesterday. The future is now. And artificial intelligence is changing the narrative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Randolph. Is there anyone else for virtual public comment for 3 minutes? Is anyone else on there? If not, we can move on to the next item 4, community updates. We'll have a community policing updates by the Tampa Police Department. Is there someone here to introduce yourself? Have the floor.
I'm David Fernandez. Say happy to be here Friday. We'll get back to this thing. I think Dave walked out, but I'm going to introduce him shortly. He got promoted to corporal, so he's going to be heading the community engagement squad. So you'll be seeing him shortly in the here. The end of the city, end of the report hasn't come out yet. But violent crime in the city was down 15%. Total crime was down 6%. And that's attributed to what everyone said in the officers. I will say that D1 violence crime was down more than the city. We're down in District 1, 21%. And the property crime, we were down 12%. With that being said, in West Tampa and D1, it goes the same way. We're seeing an uptick in auto burglaries. All these auto burglaries that we're having are unlocked. Just this month so far since January, we've had 7, 2 firearms taken from that vehicle, 2 grand theft autos. Both of the key fobs were in that vehicle. One of them was a dispute with a roommate. 3 aggravated batteries, no shootings. In 2 of those cases, there was victim and offender known. 2 homeless people, the other one was domestic violence. We are seeing, like I said, property crime have an issue in West River. That's an internal issue. They're seeing in packages. When we go to the mailroom, that's where they drop off packages. People do, other residents take them, we can talk to management to see if there's a better way of dropping off packages to the management itself, and then, you know, they gotta come before 5:30 PM sign for it, they don't wanna do it, that's an issue we're still trying to resolve with them. I wanted to touch on that address that you gave me in November, 2712 West North A. So we spent about 30 man hours there, didn't have an issue at the house. No drug dealing going on at the house. The drug dealing, when we found out, no surveillance there, was across the street at the Park Motel.
Yeah, that's what I sleep.
That's where they're dealing out of, so, Marcus's squad, you know.
But
Marcus.
they crossed the alley.
Oh, well, you're there, you didn't finish.
Yeah.
So, we did see him in the alley, even though there's a wall behind the house, they were sleeping back there, so we arrested the male that was dealing drugs. But now, his girlfriend is taken over, so we're doing surveillance on her, it's gonna take some time. Application, that was about a month and a half to get him, and then have to get her.
Thank you so much.
Gabe, I want to introduce you before you let him. They all know you, but I told you got voted to.
Congratulations.
You'll continue to see me we build our community engagements, squad unit out. And, so you'll continue to see me at the meetings and engage in much of the set stuff that we're doing throughout the city.
Does anybody have any questions? Anyone look at first?
Yeah, I need to repeat what you said about like river.
Packages at West River.
Right, so if Amazon comes or UPS comes, somebody, you order a package at West River, it goes to their mailroom. Their mailroom is on security. So anybody that lives there, will go down to the mailroom, pick up a package, walk out. Can't determine if that package on video, if that package, what the name was, who it belonged to. So we try to work with management saying, hey, when packages get delivered, can they give them to the property manager or in the office? And then when you guys close, some residents, listen, you gotta pick up your package by 5:30. But they say they don't have the, that employees to do that, the administrative staff to do that.
I got here with you, address on Union Street about potential drug activity. Do you have?
They were aware of that address that you.
Okay,
Okay, we're working it. When I told the officers, they said they had arrested a couple people.
Okay.
Off of Union Street.
okay.
I'd like to add, months ago, when we worked with management there, we recommended that they look at establishing some type of lockers there on property that would be able to secure the packages until the owner of the person who's getting the delivery would be able to get it. Those lockers can be activated with cell phones. Everybody has one of these little computers in our pockets now, so it's accessible to everyone. The packages would be distributed into the lockers, and that person would be able to retrieve that with the proper code and phone, and that would secure that. It's worked well in other areas where they've had that issues. That was recommended to management a while ago, and so maybe we can follow up with them again and encourage them to try to look into that to work that out.
Yeah, I actually followed up with them about that. They said the lockers were too expensive. So that's when I recommended that they could get to the ladies that work at the front, for that administrative staff that they have there.
Yes.
And I don't think they wanted to take.
Don't want to forget responsibility. Yes.
I have a question about just safety on the street and lighting. Do you think that improved lighting in some of these, like, I was out walking a few nights ago and I felt really unsafe because it was so dark. There's inadequate streetlights. I think that would be contributing to the problem with cars being broken into and.
So you're talking about Septon. I know a lot about Septon, but he's running all that and explaining it to you.
So what that would again fall on something like TICO, and TICO puts the lights there for illumination of the roadway. It's not necessarily there for pedestrians walking. It's the street lights are there for the illumination of the roadway.
Pedestrian friendly city, right?
Yes, and that's something that would have to be developed with them, with someone in their lighting solutions, and possibly, THA, or one of the organizations, community organizations could approach TICO. There are a lot, I don't say a lot, but there are grants out there. We've worked with a guy named Lee Isham at TICO, who was one of their lighting engineers, and there are grants out there that you could apply for to improve lighting and security areas.
I don't know if this is for Brown or for you, and it's basically, I live on the west west side of the JCC. Northside Park is on the east side of the JCC, and we're beginning to have parking problems again, where they actually have valets that are directing them down our streets. And our streets are narrow, we don't have any sidewalks. And like, especially when they have 200 or 300 guests, I mean, they're everywhere. And we just spoke to one of the officers over there, the last JCC officers, to talk to them about it. That problem with parking has been ongoing since they opened. And they used to actually park where now the Tampa General has their rehab center on Rome, and then they used to park in the valley over. But now they're parking all in our streets. And of course, around Rivers Park, which is not part of the CRA, we're talking, that's why we're talking about Northside Park. But the congestion is unbelievable. They park anywhere and everywhere. And the fact that those valets are doing this to go down our streets, we have almost no legal parking in on those streets because they're narrow. We have lots of driveways. So they park illegally and it brings problems. So we have talked to the JCC and we didn't talk to the events coordinator, but is there something we can do while they're figuring out what they think they should do when we have a problem?
What street was it that you said you lived on?
Between, JCC is between Armenia and Howard.
Right, what street do you live on?
The street right on Big Street, but it's all the way through Northside Park, from Carmen all the way down
It's
to,
black, there's no parking on.
but the parking in the neighborhoods. There's no parking left on the JCC, so they have valets that are outside directly into our neighborhoods.
Right, but on your street, is there no parking signs where people can't park and right away?
No, because the city won't give them to us.
I'll talk to, there was a sergeant that retired from here that now the JCC, I don't know if that's who you spoke to, Greg Collier.
The problem is they have to be on every street.
I'm sorry,
They have to be on every street.
I understand, but if it's a public street,
Yeah,
then we really can't prevent them from parking there unless we get the mobility and they put, no parking signs, or you can park on the street from 8 AM to 8 PM and from 8 PM to 8 AM. And it's something that,
the problem is that the city ordinance, you can't park 10 feet close to the driveway.
right,
Okay. You can't park on the other side of the driveway, nor can you park 30 feet from a stop sign, and that's the biggie.
okay, I'll get with Greg and let him know.
Yeah.
But as for parking on the right of way or on the public street, and it's like you said, within 30 feet of the stop sign or blocking somebody's driveway, unless it's got a sign with parking, there's not much. But I'll call Greg tomorrow.
And with the rule that applies to parking across from the driveway, that's only if the street is less than 25 feet wide.
We don't have 25 feet left.
Yeah, big, you said big, not that, wide.
I think whether 15 feet?
Yeah,
15 feet.
yeah, it's not so much the legal parking that's a problem, it's the illegal parking that's a problem. And because our streets are narrow and we have a lot of driveways from homes, it makes it difficult to find a legal spot within the block or in the corner. So that's where they start parking.
Well, police officers no longer, unless it's nighttime or something, I'm parking out, but if it's an issue, call us.
We also have them parking in the alleys. And which presents a problem because now we have a lot of new homes with the alley access.
Yeah, alleys they can, they'll get fixed.
Thank you.
This is the reference to, guns being left in unlocked cars. How is TPD addressing that with the owners? Are the car owners being held accountable at all?
They're not being charged with any crime, if that's what you're asking us. We would send out tweets to repeat, tell people to lock the cars, lock the houses. We've done that before, also with the cars that they leave the keys in, that they leave them locked. We provide clubs if they want them. But it's usually, and we've seen where it's repeat offenders 2 or 3 times to get their car broken into. And nowadays, I just don't understand it. Yeah, you don't manually have to lock it, instead of button and lock it. To be honest with you, people know this.
So is there a law against charging these people with
You would think that there would be or should be, they could lose, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if they have that stolen, do they lose their concealed weapons permit, and now you don't even need a.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Permit to carry.
I know you were here at the last meeting and you talked about homeless people,
Yes.
because there's an issue with two people living in a tent on the property behind my. I have heard things like a sexual assault between the two individuals who are in the tent. And I have also seen where it appears to me to be drug activity. But I mean, it's not like I actually saw the transaction. You know what I mean? So at what point do you all get involved?
And if you call us, like I said, if you say, listen, there's two people.
So even if I hear something and
Absolutely.
I don't see it, it's,
You hear something.
okay.
We'll say, hear something, say something, see something. It may be nothing. Like I said,
Well, it's something, but yeah.
but then again, it's private property, but the city doesn't allow people to live in backyards and tents.
Can a property owner allow it? Because I don't understand how they could be there in the first place.
And it's something I would have to look into. I don't have the answer to that. I know that
I know you could.
if you want to camp out one night in your backyard, you can. But that's different. That's not.
Yeah, that's different. That's okay, okay.
Are you okay over there?
I didn't think about nothing. It's on top, we don't have this, sections.
One was, traffic related issue. There's the four-way stop at Roman Big, there's the four-way stop at Oregon and Big. No one ever stops. For a while, we had a police officer in a marked car parked in the driveway of our homeowners association, and he would catch people all the time. It was wonderful.
That's probably the most motivating.
I wish he would come down. I miss that guy, he was great.
Is Chestnut and Fig?
No, Roman Fig and Oregon. Oregon and Fig, nobody stops. Roman Fig, sometimes people stop. It's getting
That
better.
is a systemic problem with drivers throughout the city. Even you're supposed to come through before making a right on red. Nobody does. They slow down, they see nothing coming, they go. It is a habitual problem. And it's something we've been trying to get more information out there to educate folks that yes, you can turn right on red, come to a stop sign or come to a red light. But you must come to a complete stop, right? That's you know, full station is moving. And people don't do that.
They're, I said, it's dark out there. They're walking dogs. They're, pedestrians don't pay attention either. They're on their phones or whatever. It's just, I hope nobody gets hurt.
A lot of that comes down to personal responsibility. It's a stop sign, it's a traffic control device. You have to come to a complete stop to comply with that.
Cynthia, what time do you think it will work? I think that the motor unit is done.
Probably in the morning when people are going to work, like between 6:30 and 8:30. And then
And then rush hour coming home.
rush hour coming home too. It's not good.
Also, there's most kids on the road, so I can do this.
Yeah, it was true.
Okay, is that all the questions? Okay, thank you very much, officer. Mr. Fernandez, you got the good work. Anything, before you leave? We asked a lot of questions, and I'm asking you. Is there anything we need to do, or you need us to do? We can't stop people from leaving the cars on lot, but, that might be something for the city lobbyists, is to see if we can lobby to get people charged for leaving the cars so we can use a weapon. And I think some people thinking about that in Tallahassee. Last time I was talking in Tallahassee, that's just getting to be an epidemic of guns, and those guns end up in the hands of juveniles over leaving the city shoot. So, some way we've got to have a law that says if you carry this gun on there, you get car unlocked, like we do a gun around a child, you can get charged for that out. So it should be also in your car, but that's part of your Adobe, and I don't know. But anyway, thank you. Anything else, Main Street, anything like that? I know that they-
Main Street, we are seeing another.
Yeah, they were good.
In the park.
Hanging out, you know, they hanging out was last Friday. I mean, the blue light special, Mr. Garcia has keeps them sort of at a bay, but they just go behind the alley there outside of the view of the cameras. Is where they hide out, but, you know, that's sort of cleaning up like they're on Pine, and hopefully it disappears by the time he gets those units occupied. But there has been the other day, you know, at least 100 people was up there this last Friday. I drive this stuff, but they were getting ready to accumulate. I just says, well, hopefully TP gives you that, and I think it will. I think y'all might go out there
Yeah, the side squad went out there.
and just do what they do, and they go on about their business. Okay. All right, that's it on the crime. Let's move on, and thank you guys, and congratulations on the promotion. Okay, yes, sir. We're gonna, you know what? He's next on the list because we don't have any presentations and we don't have any, grant audit outreach until they come next month, right, Mrs. Okay, so that takes us to, my code enforcement is not on the agenda. The reason why, Mrs., is that just oversight?
I was aware that you'd be here, would like to add them to the agenda.
Yeah, we used to always have them, just like the community police update.
I believe their update is quarterly,
Okay,
so today would be the first quarter.
come on, huh, man, we're gonna get to you. Thank you.
They only come with stats.
Okay.
What we did in the previous quarter, I've been off, I didn't come into work till 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay,
I'm really here because I haven't gotten any emails from anybody with any major issues. Carlos hasn't informed me of any issues. The last time I was here was several months ago. We were dealing with, alleys that needed to be mowed, there was some homeless living in the alley. I think we've addressed those with the help of TPD. Really, I'm just looking for input. Is there anything that's happening, whether it's law enforcement related, there could be some code violations, because a lot of times they go hand in hand. Yes, sir.
We just had some noise issues, either with, parties, or I know we had a gym open up in the neighborhood. There were causing some issues with noise early in the morning. And we were trying
In
to,
residential?
yeah, the gym is next to residential.
Okay.
So you can hear the plates dropping and the music blaring. They're kind of working through it, but I guess the reason I wanted to bring it up is because whenever we bring up these issues to TPD points the finger at code enforcement.
And then there is some truth to that.
And then code enforcement says, oh no, that's a CPD issue, not you, because
Yeah.
when it gets to a certain level, I will call you.
Right, all right, so when it comes to noise, they measure the audible.
Right.
Okay, so if it was loud music coming from a business or house, they would deem that, but if it's every once in a while, the guys, animals next door are constantly making squealing rocks and it's causing a public nuisance, then we would address it under chapter 19-47.
So when it's happening at 1 o'clock in the morning, who do we call?
And it's a house party, that would be TBD. Yeah. It would need to come out there.
My understanding of the code is if it's audible from 100 feet away, I believe it is, then it's too loud.
Yeah, they have their meters. When I worked down in Ybor City, they have to police the bars.
I thought they got away from the meters because that was too difficult, so it was just if they're, you can hear it from a certain distance.
Well, and that might be the case in residential, but in Ybor, it's an every day ongoing, with certain bars that they're having to go in there and show them, and sometimes they just go and start writing citations.
So to avoid us calling in at 1 o'clock, and then eventually I think that's a code enforcement issue. What do you suggest we do? Do we call the non-emergency number during the day and tell them, hey, this is what's going on?
Yes, you can, and there could be some reasons behind it. Let's just say, because I know, maybe not parts of Hyde Park, there's Airbnbs.
Mhm.
And these Airbnb owners are allowing 1-day parties. Well, everyone knows in the city of Tampa, you gotta have a 7-day rental agreement, period. Can't be any less than that or it's violation of our zoning statute. So that's something that you guys weren't aware of. It's very important.
Say that again.
For Airbnbs, on any rental agreement, it has to be minimum of 7 days. So the issues we were having where there were large parties going on that TPD was responding to, they were parents renting a house for one night so their kids can get drunk and have a party fest at this house, and it was wreaking havoc in the neighborhood. So although we didn't address the sound issue, TBD was going out there for the noise, the drugs, the underage drinking. We attacked it from a zoning perspective and went after the property owners that are doing the lease agreements. It takes a little bit of work because you got to do a subpoena for records a lot of times, so the difference that Airbnb websites to actually get their the information shown, so when we go to court, we have a legal, we've used their body camera when they've interviewed people, because they've got, TV's got, I wish they were here right now. They've gotten good at asking the right questions. How long is your rental agreement? Well, oh, we're only renting for one night. Well, we've used them in court to prove our case. So, I mean, that's how we do get involved with the noise complaints. We just attack it in a different way.
Can you tell me what the number is for that ordinance for Airbnbs?
It's gonna be under chapter 27. The actual ordinance should fall under, chapter 27-156. And that pretty much constitutes what you're allowed to do in a certain zoning district, whether it's a historic or just a regular neighborhood. But everything pretty much follows under chapter 27-156, and then there's a bunch of, subcategories. That's good information that I don't think we educated enough on our Airbnb. In nicer neighborhoods, they are becoming a problem. Especially around the Plant High School area.
You got your hands up.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
You got your hands up.
No, I did not.
Okay, what, Mr. Silver?
Although it's like, it's happening on my street where they're using Facebook to rent out, of their house. They're not doing Airbnb.
That's okay, but if we can capture that,
Okay.
if we can capture that, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's actually easier to do it on Facebook than it's Airbnb, because, Airbnb, they kind of disguise it unless you have an address, like they show it on a broad map. You can't really pinpoint which is the house sometimes.
Okay.
So any aspect of rental is still required by the zoning code that they have to follow the minimum. And a lot of them don't follow it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of police work on our end. So what I'll do is, send me an email like tomorrow, and I will give you an outline of what's expected from the Airbnb and how we enforce it.
Good to know.
Just a question about code enforcement. Do y'all have any enforcement authority over illegal parking?
Over where?
Illegal parking.
Okay, so we do have authority for writing parking citations. We will address them if you were to complain that we don't make it a primary, like we don't go around all day looking for things that we can write citation. If you were to call and say, listen, they're violating this sign and it is in our geographic area.
But in fact, they're blocking my driveway, they're less than,
Yes, we can go out
10
and
feet,
Yes.
inside the back of the driveway. You park it legal direction on the street. You can write a citation.
We all have been trained, unless you're brand new, you haven't been.
They changed the ordinance to allow you to do that.
Yes.
It's been recently, not too long. ago.
Yes.
For you guys don't work at night, so.
We don't work at nights, but TBD does. They may not want to come out. And even the parking enforcement detail, how they pretty much want to center around downtown Tampa. If there's a big enough issue, they will come out and address a major. We had what's that food establishment? It's like we can get all the bowls made. Fresh Kitchen. All right, you know the one in Hyde Park?
Yeah.
We got tasked to write sit there every day at lunchtime. We had one inspector writing citation for people illegally parking, because there's no parking for that place. When I feel bad for the people, they're just trying to find a place to, park, but every wasn't happening. We sat there we had inspectors tied up for a long time.
And that parking violation goes like any parking violation, is it fine? How much is it?
Yeah, most of the infractions are $30.
Just like a regular parking ticket.
Yeah, like I'll be writing a bunch, come Saturday for Dallas, Gasparilla and Davidson. I usually average 10 to 15 a day out there. They don't care. It's like,
And what happens to that money? Does the city get any of it back? Like goes to the city?
I don't know if it goes into the general funds. I'm assuming, any citations go into the general fund, so I don't know how that works. That's a floodplain.
Excuse me, no. I'm sorry,
Cynthia.
that's Cynthia.
Forget city mobility, they can come out too, and they don't like tickets, I just put a warning on it. But they'll come out within 2 hours, and it's, Brett, what's his name? Brett. Book bed revolt, is in charge of mobility. And they come out, I called them and they've been there within 2 hours. They're on call weekends.
They issue citations, like code
It's not a
enforcement.
citation, it's a warning, but at least it shows that you're paying attention to your street. That's what you want to be able to do. But they will come out Saturday or Sunday and during the week.
Ms. Maloney?
Thank you. I have a pet peeve about people who leave their garbage cans out in front of their house. Week long, like forever. They just leave them there all the time.
We address that under, if you ever had anybody say that, under 1947 as a public nuisance. There are solid waste, code sections. Well, we cannot enforce a chapter 26 violation, which falls under solid waste, but all those are addressed under 1947 public nuisance.
Usually the
And if you
Airbnb,
read the code, it's a catch-all for a lot of things.
usually the Airbnbs, because I got one across the street, and they come over after people leave, which ain't 7 days. And they go in and clean it up, and they leave it there, and they put it out early because they're not coming back, you know?
Right. It's no big
And
deal.
it sits there, and they don't take it back when they leave, because they're Airbnb, and they have somebody paid to clean up, but not necessarily haul the trash cans. But
Well, if you guys give me a geographical area, so I have parts of West Tampa, I have Wellswood, so every Wednesday, that's what I do, I go through Wellswood, that's their pet peeve too. And I put the yellow stickers on there saying, hey, it's a non-collection day, you know, you can lose your rights to have trash, you know. It's a nice little yellow sticky placard that goes right onto the garbage can or recycle bin. Some people get mad, they say, well, you don't understand, my wife was sick, people don't get, you know, whatever. But it's just a reminder, because a lot of people don't know that you gotta pull them in, a lot of people don't realize, you're actually supposed to hide them.
Yeah.
You can't just go in front, but you know. We want them off the roadway, and to me, if we can accomplish that, it'd be a great thing.
Okay, there's no one, is that it? The code is-
This one relates to the parking. Who has parking, who has towing rights? I mean, does it stop the police? Are you guys like, folks that are having trouble and there's obvious illegal parking going on?
Okay, if it pertains to illegal parking, yes, that would be a police officer, but if it's an operable vehicle, you know, we have to do our 3-day notice. And then after that 3-day notice, we can, and it can be for a flat tire, anything that would make the vehicle inoperable, not allowed to drive. So if you have a cracked windshield, technically you're not supposed to drive a cracked windshield vehicle on the roadway. So anything that the police would deem as inoperable or not drivable without issuing a citation would be considered inoperable. You need to put 3-day notice, little sticker on their car that's very hard to get off. And then after that, we would tow it.
But a homeowner that maybe has their driveway blocked can't,
That would be a TBD, yeah.
like, yeah, okay.
And that would be under, our code is under 1956 for inoperable vehicles.
What about if it's an inoperable vehicle, visible from the road, like within private property?
We can still issue a 1956 violation where if they don't repair, tag, or remove it, they would receive if it's a first offense, a $75 ticket. After that, it'd be a second offense, third offense, where it eventually get a third offense requires a mandatory court appearance. So, but that takes, there's a 2-month cutoff, that's from the time we write the citation, if they don't pay, to go to a civil hearing, it's usually about 2 months, sometimes a little bit more, depending how backed up they get.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very
But
much.
please, if you guys have anything else, you know, most people have my email. I answer my emails, I answer my phone calls all within 24 hours. So it's Chris, HRIS, Freeman, FREEMAN at tampa.gov.
And that phone number again,
813-347-7823.
okay. Very wonderful. So we won't see you now, so we get this cadence going. So we see you every quarter,
Yes,
that way it works, so we gonna see you too.
that's the way they have it set up right now, but that's always subject to change depending on,
The lead.
yes. but I still want to be here in my, you know, if you have anything, please call me.
Every year, and I'm gonna chair, you gonna be able to speak. I don't care what it says. All right, okay. All
All right, you
right,
guys, be safe.
all right. Next item is action item. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? The, notes of meeting of November 28, 2023.
That's correct.
So we got to get a motion to approve it, and then we'll discuss the corrections. All right, motion by Mr. Carl Ferrera, is there a second? Second by Mr. Bobby Wilson, is there any discussion? I believe Ms. Tina, you had your hand up. And then,
Before we work.
no, we're not approving anything, really just put it up for, we can't discuss it unless it's on the, unless it's a motion made. So we have a motion made, and now there's discussion, Ms. Tina, you have the floor, and then Ms. Sanchez.
Yes, I'm not on there as being a attendant.
Was
And
you
I
in
was-
attendance?
I was-
She's got next to me.
I mean, put their name up, man, they put you on it twice. So one correction is that Ms. Tina, needs to be added as a CC member. And the other one is that Mr. Bobby Wilson is only a CC member. He hasn't started working for the city yet, everybody. He's not a staff member. So I don't know who that staff member was that Bobby's name is on, and Ms. Tina Young is listed as a CC member. Okay, those are, anything else, Ms. Tina?
That was it.
All right, Mr. Sanchez.
I believe we discussed that the on minutes and roll call, we should also include the people that are not here.
Yes, so that we'll know that they're absent. I thought we said,
We
yes.
did, it didn't happen.
Okay, so we need to have the people that were not present on the 28th.
Right, so it'd make it easier to keep track of those.
I don't know who that was. I don't know who that was.
Was anyone else not here?
Well, you might listen to the roll call that we had that day on the tape. But then Rich brings up
Walter
this,
Smith was absent.
yes.
And so
What-
one that's not.
What's happening is that,
I think it was on, or you gotta speak on virtual now.
Got it.
huh?
No, we'll speak on virtual.
Yeah, he said he would be.
So then should that be reflected? Or should they have?
Yeah.
Virtually today.
Right. And we'll
By the
talk
way,
about this.
compliments on the minutes, they were quite detailed.
They were simpler detail,
Whoever-
real detail, more than Robert's rules of order requires. Okay, anything else from Sanchez? The motion been made, so there's, anyone else, any corrections? Okay, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, as a minute, all opposed, say aye. Motion carries. Speaking of, absenteeism, and attending meeting, that, but what I understand, the city's going to crack down. I told him, well, the chair had discretion in our meetings to excuse somebody. I mean, if you got a legitimate reason, you need to be excused. I haven't seen anything in the notes saying the chair couldn't do that. I don't see anything in what the policy said the chair couldn't do that. I don't see any policy the chair can't do that. But our mode of operating has been that if there's a, we've been given generous excuses. We don't have, and this side, haven't had, and I've been around since the beginning, a real serious issue with the quorum, like each side has had. It sort of happened during COVID, and when I said, hey, I'm going to start cracking down and giving unexcused absence, all of a sudden I had a quorum. I don't think I'm going to use it but one time, since I've been the chair, one time that I had to crack down. So I'm a generous person. As long as we got a quorum, we conduct business. So I'm not necessarily seriously concerned about that, although there may be difference of opinions with other people at the city. But as long as we have a quorum and we're getting things done, it doesn't bother me. But I just wanted to throw that, know that. Yes, Mr. Sanchez.
And just to check here on to what you're saying, I think we take on the responsibility of being a member of this board if you should attend, okay? But if you miss 3, 4, 5 meetings a year, you're not participating in this board, you're not helping. We count on everybody's opinion, whether we like it or not. When we talk about something, and I think it's important that as many people, you took on this responsibility. You need to be here. We have excuses. But if you commit, you know that every fourth Tuesday, this is where you're supposed to be. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Moving right along, now it brings us to our CRA director's update. I believe she has passed out the document. Did I say document? That's not something.
Yes, sir.
Teach me about them.
Now walk us through them as I speak to you.
All right, go for it. Thank you very much. Oh, of course, you use the mic, big, easy.
Thanks. Well, good evening, everyone. So nice to see you in person. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, my name is Erica Moody, and I am honored to be the Community Redevelopment Agency Director. A little bit of my background, I come from community redevelopment work in the university area with the CBC. I helped run a nonprofit there, open up a real estate arm, land bank, redevelop the community from the inside out. I also have background in transportation, connectivity, specializing in pedestrian and bicycle safety. So a little bit of specialty there, but most of all, I'm invested in leadership and coming in and being the leader, so we can get our agency fully functioning and, optimizing at that maximal ability, because we have such an opportunity within the CRA that we are reinvesting public dollars into the community to help our residents. And my priority is to invest in the residents that are here and help create equity in that way. So I've been here for about 6 months and just hit the ground running. And I'm really here to provide a more strategic, high-level update of what we've been up to for the last 6 months. And then I also have some of our wonderful team members here to talk more of the details around projects, communications, and you'll hear from our grants team next month, which will be really exciting. So I prepared just a timeline of events just to kind of see what's been going on over the last 6 months and what we've been accomplishing. And then also some really exciting milestones that we're working towards that I would love to invite you all to be a part of and help champion. So in February of 2023, our Administrator of Economic Development and Opportunity was the interim CRA director at the time. Her name was Nicole Travis. And she has CRA experience, came in and has done a comprehensive assessment on the CRA, its effectiveness, our metrics, or lack thereof, and our ability to spend our budget and meet our goals yearly. And through that, she brought forward a recommendation to restructure the CRA. And the question is, what does that mean? And it's really restructuring our staff. So previously we were operating with CRA managers that had an economic development specialist. Some CRAs had one, other CRAs, depending on the need, had two. But you had a really small but mighty team that was assigned to the district. And you all have been working with Jesus Nino. He has accepted a job with the city of Clearwater, working in economic development, and also is the executive director of the CRAs for the city of Clearwater. So we're really excited for him and that opportunity. And then it creates opportunity for me to get to know you a little bit better here today. So Jesus was working with Andrea Rosshaven, who's in the back and my lifeline right now, making sure this meeting goes smoothly. Thank you. And just Jesus and Andrea were expected to implement capital projects, administer pretty serious legally binding grants, liaison with the community and communicate effectively, run all of the PR and communications, handle all the public requests coming in, run the studies with planning such as alleyway and mobility, and just coordinate all the efforts. And even though they were working as hard as they can, it's unrealistic for one or two people to be able to effectively implement that. So the restructure, the main point of it is that we have developed divisions within the CRA. So instead of kind of siloing it by district, we've actually created divisions. So we now have a senior project manager, and that is Ms. Melissa Martinez, who is here today as well. And then we also have an economic development coordinator who is restructuring our grants. So I'll talk a little bit about our grant audit and recommendations that'll be coming to you next month. But we now have a fully functioning projects team, fully functioning grants team, a fully functioning housing team as well. And we'll talk more about housing, as well as administration. So we didn't really have administrative procedures, and the invoices were being processed differently. The proposals were coming through all over. The RFPs were being done differently. And even though each district is specific, there's some operational procedures that just make sense to streamline in that way. So we have built these divisions out, and it really is helping stabilize the agency, such as Jesus leaving us. We were able to tap in, like all the projects have been transferred over to the projects team already. So the projects are fully functioning, won't skip a beat. The grants are with the grants team already, fully functioning, won't skip a beat. The thing that you'll notice the most is really interfacing with the community. And I'm a community person. I actually love this work and being here. I've worked with code and PD for years doing this work. And really want our CRA managers to invest in the community, build relationships, communicate effectively, and relay it to the right people that it should be going to, whether it's the city department, whether it's our projects team, but really be like this gatherer of information and a really effective liaison. So that is the role of the CRA managers, and that's really the role that I'm fulfilling and covering here today. We've been going through a lot of change. Honestly, if I came in and redid it, I probably would have stopped operations for 5 to 6 months and reopened as a new agency. So it's been challenging to run business as usual, as well as restructure ourselves. So I'm just being vulnerable and transparent that we are working day and night to continue to serve the community while establishing and stabilizing the agency in that way. So when we say CRA is going through a restructure, that's what we mean. So we have posted jobs, so creating these job descriptions, posting these job descriptions. We're being really picky with who we bring in. I'm re-advertising up to 3-4 times to make sure we get the right candidates that are here for the right reasons too. So we're bringing them in, we're training our staff, and really just building a team and building a really good company culture. One of the issues that we're really facing is that the CRA is in 3 different locations. So we have 3 different office spaces, one being downtown, and that's where my main office is. And then we have our grants team operating out of the Ybor office on 7th Street. And then we have all of our CRA managers working at the East Tampa location. So I relocated them temporarily by work group so they can at least work together as a group and establish themselves. But we're facing some communication challenges being spread out in 3 districts as we're trying to build our internal structure. So my focus is really getting everyone under one roof right now. And what that's looking like is I really want to be in the community. So I'm having an office space, honestly, in East Tampa or West Tampa. But that is quite a process to look for projects. We've been shopping for space. But what became available is downtown on the 2nd floor where we currently are. You may be aware the city moved to Hannah, which is the city services center that was just recently built that has completely vacated our 2nd floor, and we can move staff in right away. So we're going to be relocating all of our staff to the downtown municipal building as we look for a really valuable community project to invest in and build office space in community. So that is those are the main key points of the restructure is the staffing piece and this relocation piece, and then building in these internal processes. So I'll kind of stop there and walk you through this timeline of events that have occurred, but just want to stop there for any questions or comments or anything like that. Yes, ma'am.
What's happening with building near the development people used to be?
Building versus development, where they used to.
It's at Boulevard, that belongs to the Redwood Station next door. It was we were renting.
Okay.
I used to work in Christmas road.
Okay.
Thanks, Melissa.
That's insane. We just live in
On that note, you keep an eye out for us and let us know if there's any potentials. Definitely, thank you. Ms. Hendricks.
No, I didn't hear the last part of your statement. Are you gonna talk about these or do you want us to ask questions?
I am going to walk us through the timeline. I'm just kind of stopping at the restaffing and relocating piece because I know it's a lot. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You didn't mention Ms. Parks, so I know that she's been here and working with Jesus and Andrea, so is she not no longer?
Give credit where credit's due. Yes.
Yeah.
We also have this part. Thank you for pointing that out. I was gonna bring her in later in our discussion and she's just want to update too, but yes, we have Ms. B. Parks in the room, in the house.
Yeah.
She is our CRA communications coordinator and she is leading communications and we have some exciting stuff that we're working on. So she reports directly to me and yeah, we love our week.
But I hate, yeah, ask tough questions.
So I answer what I can.
You know, you say last question, I'm doing last question. You know, I was just down there last Thursday
Yes,
and the website magically got updated. I couldn't. 24 hours. You update the website. Now, I'm asking the big gorilla in the ring, because one thing we know from having started from scratch, that when we had these so-called subcommittees, because we only meet once a month here and no other day. So that means that we can't talk to each other because sunshine. I don't know, that's the question. But we can't talk about none of this. You know, people call me up and say, I ain't talking about it. You gotta wait to go to meet. So I was directing meeting. Okay, directing, but it's about small. I ain't talking about it, talk to me. And so going down the road, you know, whenever this dust settles, when all of this is completed and everybody thinks we got all the people hired, this and that. My question is, we're gonna have subcommittees, I mean, because otherwise we are pretty much depending on staff to respond to issues that we may bring up at this meeting. You know, such as, you know, we got a crime subcommittee, we had a housing. So how do we get input to that when we don't even know where we are with what we've always had? Because we're starting a transitional period. We came up with housing programs, spent 13 hours on, and we came up with, you know, arts, things that we want to do. And I'm just trying to figure how do we, since we want to have this community-based thought process, and we are the so-called resident experts being from this particular community, for this particular location. How will we get that enthusiasm back? Because it's sort of like, once that got snatched, it was like, man, why we even meet? We're just coming in here and voting up and down notes of meeting and hearing some presentations, but when are we gonna have time to work on the real issues? You know what I'm saying?
thank you.
So I'm not asking for it, I'm just saying that's an observation, and, you know, I let people know that, you know, I would ask the question, because I already said, okay, give us some time, give some more time, because we can see you at least short us, because we had to really beg, our number over there, Samantha was said, well, I want to see a org chart. What do we look like? Now, we had one presented. Right, so, and that was because we were like not knowing, it was just like it was a top secret of what the shuffling was going on. I know that it was until you got here. So it was like, you know, we're fishing around, you know, we're asking this and that. So I don't like that. I like true transparency. And I like that the way you're doing it, you're coming in, you're showing this, you're actually coming to this meeting, really in, yeah. And so I like that. So I just want to let the members know that this is a work in progress. You know, we're still gonna keep doing what we're doing. People are starting to see, you know, part being done and so forth. So just be aware now, this lady needs some time.
Got the wrap up.
Okay, right. But and they loved it. They said that's a genius. That was good.
So good.
They gave me the credit for that. Putting that together. Yeah, so that's some genius. Then her say, that's some genius. I think about it. Y'all see my credit. But hey, that me.
Yeah.
But I call everybody's name out. But anyway, I just want to say that. I just want to say that that's something that people are asking. When can we get into those detailed sessions that we as volunteers would like to do? I know you guys are holding on for that till all of this is done and all this is locked in. And then whether the budget not has the capability to facilitate that effort or not. So I'm not gonna stir it in, but I just want to remind you that I think this group here really would like to at least go back there, if not all, but at least some resemblance to that. Okay, but it's on, now hold on, now she's presenting, I just asked that, but go ahead and say, we let her get back to speak. Go ahead and say.
Okay, we have a project with us that Jesus made for us. And he kept track of it every month, and there's about 30 items on that. Those work as reminders to us that when we got that report, to see if we were still following it, if anything's been done on that report. So when I emailed you and asked for that report, that's what I was hoping we would get. It's about what, Andrew, 3 pages long or something like that. But it gives us the status of what's happening in all the smaller projects that we're working on that aren't ready to go before city council. So that would at least help us, if we can't have the committee meetings, if we can continue to get that listing. And if it's, I don't know, but what's happened, it's stagnant, we're moving forward with this. I think that would help us so that we don't feel so isolated.
Yes.
And so if we could get that coming again, I think we would appreciate that.
Well, I can tell you this. The last issue of it was, December 19th, 2023. It's 10 pages long, and I did send it to the city and put it that way. So I would suggest that the city, even if they don't update it, but just since we're kicking off the new year, we had met, a couple of months here, just about a couple of months from November to now. That I would request as chair that be sent out. I think the city has it. It's dated December 19th. That was one of the last acts that Jesus did before he left, but he did issue it. And I think from that, Mr. Sanchez, that would be what we use, whether they look it or not. We'll at least have where we are, snapshot starting in 2024. And then we just take that and build on it, build off of it to go there. But I don't think you've seen it in a while. I saw the last version, yes, man. Are you done with Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Man.
Okay, well, before I go into what I was gonna say, the projects report we have here is, I guess, an abbreviated version, or, I mean, it is shorter than the last, that was multiple pages.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got to answer Mrs.
We have a section on the agenda for the project update, and let's speak to that. Just everyone bring up.
That was a separate, I was actually gonna talk about and I don't know if this is the right time, and if not, we will, but the organizational chart is when you gave it to us several months ago. In other words, I looked at it, I didn't have time to analyze it and ask questions, but my main question is, I heard you say CRA managers, and I thought we weren't having CRA managers.
So they would be community engagement.
Right, they were gonna be the community engagement.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but are they gonna still be called CRA managers, or?
Good question.
Okay,
So I'm looking at their job descriptions right now to see what aspects have become obsolete with the restructure and what aspects need to be added or in what aspects remain. So that's something we're looking at right now.
so, I guess my main concern is under project management, because I see there are 3 FTE. And to me, project management is where really all of those, that's really where things get done and all these projects get done. And I see FTE for 9 CRAs. That's a major concern, because I think West Tampa by itself, there's 2 full-time project managers. How are we going to address that?
Right. So that's the only thing they focus on. And they have project management experience, background, and a majority of these projects are also within other departments too. So CAC manages a lot of the projects, city planning manages a lot of the projects. So a lot of the projects are in partnership and we're not fully owners, so we need to track the progress. It has increased from 3 FTE to 4 FTE since that last update, where we will have 2 project coordinators, a senior project manager, and also an urban planner on staff as well. So it is staffed a little bit more, but we're confident that they have the expertise and skill set to develop monitoring tools and move the projects forward, and also push on the right people to make sure our work is moving forward.
So with that said, hold on a minute, just something that I'm gonna cut you off, but you pulling out some chocolate. I don't see that chocolate. We don't like this. Is that when we brought the night?
I brought it.
Okay, I was. You know, look out, pretty classmate, go ahead, please, that's one thing you come from that chocolate.
My concern continues to be, even with 4 FTE, how are we going to assure that West Tampa gets our, I don't want to say fair share, but that's a lot to spread. 9 CRAs technically with 4 people, and we don't have our own dedicated staff like we did. I'm concerned. I'm just still concerned that it's taking so long to get things done because we have not inadequate in their capability. But just like you said, there's only so many hours in the day and things are taking a long time because you can't do everything with a minimal amount of staffing. That's where I keep getting my hang of this.
Yeah. I hear you. And, you asked the question of how can we make sure the projects are moving forward? So I have all of you to keep us accountable and to check those projects lists. And if it's not moving at a good point, put the pressure on us. And then we'll have these tools and measures that, we can tell when the project's off track in advance and be more proactive and less reactive with some of this stuff. But I hear you. We do have a budget that we're working with for staffing too, because I don't want overhead to be crazy. But if we need to add more people and we assess that that's a need, we can definitely have that conversation.
Well, let me say this, what we did and what the theory was when we budgeted people. Remember? So when we put that in the various sections of that budget, that if we ever need to bring in the expert, bring in some engineers, bring in some planners, bring in what we need to push us forward, because we couldn't get, the in-house moving. And I said that at the meeting. And that's an option now, because it's in the budget as a line item that could be exercised going forward. So right now, once again, I'm asking to bear with them, they're showing us this, I guess, I don't see a date on it, but they say it probably said that March, April, when do you think all of the dust and everything be settled? My estimate is it's not gonna really be settled until October 1st, 2024, by the time all this settled down. And we can really see what you're saying implemented across the board. Because I know how fast the city moves, how long it take to hire, now you read advertising. In the meantime, one of the concerns that was brought up at the meeting was that, we're sitting on 19 million plus dollars in our bank account somewhere ain't been spent. You can say it's been allocated on a budget, but the money is sitting somewhere in a bank account. It ain't been spent. That's a fact. It might be committed on paper, but it's sitting, it ain't been spent. And I think we're getting another $5 to $6 million ain't been spent. So, now we're up to 27 million sitting around. My concern is this. I know the legislature, I know boys up there, and if they start seeing us not pushing forward with expenditures, they're gonna say, well, why are you collecting it? So, and the issue is implementation, as I've already said, implementation, they get it. So that's why Jeanette's over there, she's saying, so I would suggest that, like I asked, that we can get that December 19, 10 pages that Jesus said sent to all of us.
Yeah.
Number one, so we can have it for our own stuff, if you probably never looked at it again, at least we'll have that to see where we was and how we was doing. And that way we know all of the things that we talked about, because this I want trees cut, that happens. So there's a lot that ain't happening. But I'm giving the city the biggest benefit of that, but I believe come October 1st, I'm gonna be a little different about it. Okay, so me personally, I gave what 90 days last time I talked to you, y'all remember that? So I'm me personally, I'm giving them the October 1st, get all this cleaned up, the summer straightened out, get the new people out, all that, but October 1st, this has got to come to a conclusion. This plane's got to land, and it's got to land with sufficient number of staff, or sufficient, if they need another manager, put them on there. We got 19 million, we got plenty of money to hire another full-time FTE. So, and we got money coming. So I hear you say, do we have the budget? But I believe we create the budget for the CRA board to approve, up and down. Last time I checked. Very rarely they say, here's your budget, y'all approve it. I think it goes from the bottom up the last time we did the budget. So I'm just saying that I agree with you, Jeanette, but I also believe in giving somebody some time to get this out, because it's not easy, but the momentum's been going this way for decades. And now here comes somebody to turn this ship, man. It's a big ship. It got to turn it, and it ain't gonna happen overnight. It is a big ship to turn. I'm stop talking way, Mr. So.
My committee to share the same thought. It's like, why everything moving so slow? I'm trying to explain for them that you organize and you try to do things. compact or whatever. And the second thing is all the grants are on hold still, right? The grants. Okay. So I have people who want roof repair. And now they tell me it's like, one lady checked and she said it's like the facade grant now. That you have to pay up front. And then get reimbursed. Well, they can't afford that. So I mean, where are we going with that situation? Because we put a lot of effort into all, I'm just about on every committee you can.
Good, thank you.
Because I've been in this community all my life. And I want to see it completed. And at least the little bit of people that's left here like me get some enjoyment before I leave here. Yes, and that's my question concerning the grant.
Definitely.
If they can't afford it, that was the reason why we spent all that time and did those criteria.
If I could answer your question, so part of the grant recommendations that are coming forward have taken all that into account as far as the restrictions, accessibility, and as I was auditing the grants, a lot of them had 0 to less than 5 people utilized in a year. And I'm like, this is out here for the community and it's not being utilized. Why? Is it difficult to access? Do the public not know about it? So that's exactly what we'll be bringing to you that next month, with all those recommendations, so we can get them out to the community.
Answer about it being too personal, but we don't know everything you have, your favorite family, and you're like, whoa, what is this? This is this country,
Yeah, it's hard because like we need certain information, because we're issuing government grants and you do have to verify certain things. But that's why we're gonna be implementing a pre-application phase so we can just get to know the person, what they want, and then essentially assist them with the application so it's seamless. So what I've heard that before. And thank you for sharing again. Yes.
So it's a cruel joke, the grant process, because, you have to have money first. It's like you said, you have to have money. If you have the money, you don't need it. It's nice to get it back, but it's a completely, frustrating situation for a lot of people to not be able to get this help, you know, to apply for the grant and get a commitment for the grant in advance of spending money. Because we don't have the money. We tried to do a sidewalk grant that was awful, you know, intersection painting grant. And that was like, right, I didn't understand. I couldn't, it's like, no, you have to spend money first. Our neighborhood organization didn't have the money. And so then I was told, well, you should apply for the Hillsborough County grant. They have a $5,000 grant. You could get that. So, but that doesn't cover a sidewalk or
Street art.
traffic calming exercises. So it's just like, kind of like a catch-22. It's like a cruel joke. Is what I felt really offended by that.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say, so we keep moving on here. The grant people are coming here next month, God willing. And I hope they have not decided what they're gonna do, because they ain't heard from us yet, Mr. Moody. So if they come in here telling us they're making decisions, and I have not had input, it's going to be hell in him. You know, so, and that's what we don't want the city doing. We're supposed to be an advisory group. So we're gonna advise with something that y'all already decided that ain't gonna happen. They're gonna be a problem. And I think you started hearing it now, is that we wanna be engaged up front, because we got life experiences from having to deal with it the way it was the last 20 years of how it developed, you know? And we've had that issue because a lot of people don't have money and they can't put up. Now, one thing we can learn from East Tampa is they have a real successful tree cutting program. Once they got it, the bugs out, they've been applying and this and that, they cut trees down, everybody out. Then they had a great roof thing. They was able to get out there and get a lot of roofs done without a lot of red tape involved. So I don't know how they did that. You know, whether they dropped this, that, whatever. But a lot of the problem is this. I'm gonna remind the city, you get the city, but I'll remind you. We are the CRA, a separate entity than the city of Tampa. So we should be able to have different rules when it comes to grants with our money. Unless it's just blatantly illegal. Just like the federal government have grants, federal government got the most stringent requirements for grants. The next most stringent requirement is the city of Tampa, and the one that should be after that should be the CRA. Because our mission is to have slum and blight. How can you come in a slum and blight area and tell people you gotta have money up front to get something done? And when there's slum, blight, poor, and ain't got nothing, and your house raggedy, but you might own the deed to it. That's a problem. So I hope these grant people over there ain't completely locked in step with what they gonna do when they come over here to West Tampa next month and say, we've already decided this is what we're gonna do. And they have not had any, I haven't given them any input. I don't think anybody in the room's given them any input. I think you saw again a little bit tonight, what we probably would be asking next month. So I would advise before they say, hey, we got this done and we're launching it, the city council approved it, and we're gonna say, we ain't never had a chance to look at it. That's not money. So let's avoid that. Okay, let's move on. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am, you're speaking to you. Come on, get the break.
So I completely hear you on that, and the purpose in coming is to receive your feedback in February. So, but we also want to move forward, so, you know, bring that feedback next month so that we can continue to move this ship forward and turn the ship. To my response on that, and just kind of a little counter side is, you know, our CRA managers have been amongst you all for quite a while. And they should have an understanding as their liaison of your feedback, taking it into consideration, knowing your passions, your priorities, your restrictions, your frustrations. Because they're here every month hearing that, and that is exactly what they're doing as a liaison is.
I'm dead dog. That's best time with you 5 minutes. You don't want to around. Now, I'm around. They're around, so our man, that works for any other CRA area. It don't work for us. We lost, like I said, that was a major hit. So you're gonna have to depend on this collective group of knowledge here to get past that. Okay, I'm just telling you, that ain't gonna sell over here. We got a lot of things that we went through and we came up with.
Yeah.
That we all got personality, we know what it was, and if we stick with that list that ain't to the left, them 10 pages, and go from there, we'd be in great shape. Okay, because a lot of things we wanted, he backed us down and we worked it out. You know, and but like right now, people call and they say, well, who I go to? I don't know who they go to.
Mr. Chair, we still have one half of the NQO sitting back.
Where?
This is true.
Well, she knows, but she took all the notes. Okay, well, we do have, I'm sorry, this is no shade. Okay. Go ahead, Mike, and then Mrs. Williams.
You know, I wanted to ask something previously, but just before we drift off too far from what you're just talking about, when the grant committee comes in, and it's just, again, a thought, there are certain federally chartered lenders are also required to have a certain amount of presence within underserved areas. If those lenders could work within CRA to give temporary loans backed by promise of grants for work that's being done, people can get home equity lines of credit to be able to fund their projects. And then those loans are reimbursed by the grant when the grant comes in. And I mean, that could be easily fixed for folks that simply just don't have money up front, because it is very, very tough. The grants are designed not to just be a free handout, because you have to make sure someone is utilizing those funds, right? These are federal funds. Someone applies for the grant, you give them the money, and then the work never gets done. That's a big problem. People go to jail over that stuff. So, you know, there are solutions that are possible. Maybe that's one of the possibilities, is partnering with a local lender that has to have that presence within slum and blight communities. But going back to what we originally started on, I can't reiterate this enough. I came in at this point, it's probably 5 years ago, not as part of the CAC, but as part of a subcommittee to work on the commercial infrastructure. My background being in commercial real estate development, I thought, you know, at least I could help out there. Never imagined I'd still be sitting here without a completed change to the overlay for the commercial section. We worked on that diligently, weekly, for several years, and it got dropped back in our lap. No changes, nothing. And then the only thing that changed since is we were told, oh yeah, you guys can't have any more infrastructure here.
or subcommittee meetings. So it's frustrating. I mean, I've missed hockey practices, football games, football practices, music lessons. And believe me, I'd much rather be at those, but I committed to this and even agreed to stay on one more year personally, as I'm sure many of these folks have, because I want to see that work finished. I'd like to see it come to fruition. But as I sit here and every month goes by, I realize it's not gonna happen. And that's frustrating. And, you know, as grant programs get put on hold and things happen and the government wheel of bureaucracy keeps on slowly spinning, it becomes very, very frustrating. And sometimes, you know, the cynic in me thinks they don't want us to spend this money. They don't want it because they've got other plans for it. And that's frustrating. And, you know, a lot of these folks in this room live within the community. I don't live within West Tampa. I work here. I have investments here. It means a lot more to a lot of folks in this room than it does to me, but I'm still here doing it. And so I'd really like to see us get back to that. I think everybody in here is willing to donate more time and volunteer for more things, given the opportunity. So if you could work towards getting those subcommittees back rolling, we would really appreciate it.
Thank you for that honest and real comment.
Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are two things. The first is that as you're talking, and I know you have the best interest of everybody at heart, I'm thinking skeletal through. I just want to make sure that the staff that you have, that there's not, that you're not burdening them. That might not be the right word to use. I mean, obviously, they're getting paid to perform, but I hope you don't put too much responsibility on them to the point where they leave. Because they're assets. They're assets. The second thing is, we have to be mindful, and I'm gonna say this the way I really want to say it. The city needs to be mindful of your concept of redevelopment versus the reality of gentrification in neighborhoods, especially when you're looking at overwhelmingly African-American neighborhoods. And I want to say this, when it comes to grants, we'll be hearing it next month. I don't know if anybody is looking for a handout when it comes to a grant. And if we want to try to have the type of neighborhoods that we need, where there's a socioeconomic diversity, we need to have people who've been here 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years be able to fix up their homes. And I can't reiterate this any more than anybody else has tonight. We have worked so hard to make sure that, I feel like I'm gonna cry now. If you don't have the money, there's another option for you. So you don't have to leave your own house. You know what it's like when you live in a house for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And you try to apply for grants and first of all, you know, it's been suspended. God only knows what we're gonna hear next month. But please keep in mind, redevelopment, gentrification, and keeping the people here who make this community what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
We are obligated, and the city should feel obligated to make sure. Okay, because I'm just here to say, nobody here is looking for a handout. Thank you.
Okay, back to the speaker. All right, I started with incubation, but.
And I hear you. It's interesting for me because I'm used to being on this side, you know, leading all, and then I have to check myself if now I'm on the city side. But I want you all to know that I'm here to stand side by side. I understand what you're saying. I have seen it firsthand. People leave gentrified out of their home, move from community, and in that community, they'd be gentrified. The businesses close and, you know, you have more people on the streets with families. I've seen it, and that is why I'm here, is to invest in the residents that live here. We talk about a lending piece, and what you're referring to, Ms. Williams, is essentially, you know, legacy residents who have been here, who have invested. And that's what I've been looking at is, you know, how can we incentivize and make it even easier for legacy residents who have been here and want to stay here to access this. So we're working on that too.
Great.
And you all gonna get some conversation.
It's about trust.
Yes.
It's about trust.
Yeah.
And the city of Tampa needs to work on that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'm not pointing it towards
You
you,
can point it out, that's
but
fine. Yeah.
it's about trust. Because if I'm hearing all these things, why should I apply for anything? Why should I apply for anything?
Yes, yes.
There's just no point. And I don't want it to get to the point where people think only certain people can apply and get this, because that's not right either.
And just quickly, just to take it back on this, with one of the things that we used to do in partnership with the, appraisal department.
Real estate.
No. Hernandez.
No, it's the historic preservation.
Gotcha.
No.
Well,
Dennis.
that is for
Dennis.
preservation.
No, who does the taxes?
That's the assessor. Yes.
The assessor, he does.
Oh, forget this.
That's the guy. Yeah, so we used to like do a partnership with them, so they'll come into the community and talk about all of the home, tax exemptions available. And we have not done that in pre-COVID. And I think to piggyback on this, a lot of our homeowners may not have put a, their home exemption, filed their home exemption, or aware of all the discounts that are available. Like if you're 60 plus or widows or all of that. We did like for 3 years straight, well received. I think we need to do that again. And that's a quick win. Like especially as, you know, if you have not filed your home exemption, it helps you keep your tax burden low. So I think that's a quick win that we could do with partnership with them.
Good one. If anyone has a contact with them, they follow up. Okay.
Probably terrific, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I can just reach out. But if you-
yeah,
They got
I have your contact.
because they should have the material from the last time we did it.
it. Okay, now, but since y'all done brought this up now, I hate to say it, man, I'm getting it back. I'm having flashbacks of it.
The subcommittees.
That's the subcommittee. I'm worried about the committee, us. And I got people that crying and stuff. Now, I'm gonna tell you now, Miss Booty, do not get caught in this trap. This, what I call this gentrification trap, you know, this is coming. That's how the game's done. The man is a nice guy that walked out of here, Mr. Chris Freeman. Tell you why. If I want to get you, I put code enforcement on your house because it ragged that little roof leaking and you need to pass. I ain't got no money to fix it up. You're gonna go get a code running. The city gonna do what I stopped several years ago when I put Steve Brake in prison. Systematic code enforcement cause people to lose their homes. And if somebody started around here using code enforcement as a weapon, that's why my boys in Tallahassee said, if you start calling code enforcement, you better have your name and who called it in. Now people don't figure a way to work around it. And the guy down in South County, they use his name. I'm just telling you, I'm a proponent of code enforcement, but I'm not a proponent. Because every time code enforcement used in this city, it's been detrimental, especially to poor, Black, Hispanic people. Because they don't have the money to begin with. That's why the house is struggling. So if you would think, if you had a plan, if you was a grant person, that you would look at the assessment that they have for the housing and said, you know, the person over here with the raggedy houses under code enforcement, we need to find out that they ain't got nothing. That might be the first person we can go around and give a grant to and fix the house up to stop it, because it's easier to fix a wood frame house up than all this altruism of building brand new. And the city got on this campaign, with Sandy Freeman, you know, I told you about it, about a challenge fund. It's a challenge to get a fund, challenge to get a loan for that. And that single family housing nonsense they came out with didn't work. They came out with taking the city BG money before it was any CRAs. And it was used for infrastructure. They never used to fix houses up. They used it to hire 6 and 7 code enforcement inspectors to go around and write every block up and every violation on it with the altruism saying, we're gonna come back with some grant money to help you fix up your house. It didn't happen. What happened was $40 million built up in liens and fine, and Mayor Sandy Freeman said, let's foreclose on it. And that started the war. That started this whole trigger of making money. Developers coming in and buying up the code enforcement board properties that the city had. The city cherry picking which houses they wanted out the ones that 100, 200, 300 million dollar liens on. And I'm not gonna go through that again. I'm writing a book on all of it, to be honest with you. But I don't want to go through that. And what you're hearing here tonight is the same thing. I'm hearing that people here hollering about they got structures that are in violation. Thank God we got people like Mr. Freeman and out there just trying to do you in. But at the end of the day, people were saying code enforcement to start a lien and fine on good well, you can't fix it up. On good well, you got to scrape and paint, then they start looking at nitpicking. Every house around, including brand new, got a code violation, so I go look at it. Brand new got violation, so I go look at it. So I'm just saying, the days of us playing with this, in order to keep the people satisfied, we need to deal with the worst of the worst. And the way you keep people in their homes is, number one, most of them ain't even on the tax rolls, to be honest with you, because they don't meet that threshold. At one time, these people ain't paying no tax because they were below if they had $50,000, they weren't worth that. But because of inflation and because of escalation and values, now they become on the tax rolls to be subject to, being taken. Okay, so what I'm saying is that when the grant people come in, my thing is not how hard or how much paperwork it takes to get a grant, because that's nonsense. There's no rules on CRA grants that I know of. There's rules with federal government grants. There's rules with the city of Tampa grants. These are not city of Tampa money, so I don't want to hear the city of Tampa mentality. I want to hear a CRA mentality about these grants. You understand the difference? Right, you know that you was working over here. I said, we are CRA and we're different than the city. And that's been the problem, is that the city mentality is that this is the way we're gonna do it, and we're gonna tell you condescendingly this is what we want, and our committee is really rubber stamped just go long and get long. And that is not how you get results. That's how you're gonna get anarchy. That's how you're gonna get Joe Ross back to being a federal agent. You don't investigate stuff. So I'm just telling you, I don't want to go down that road. I want to help people, and we got 19 million to do it. So let me move on. I don't talk too much now, but we spent a lot of time because you're giving us an update, and there really ain't nothing left here. But you're giving us an update, and we got some projects to talk about. But we need to let you have this, because when them grant people come, they can't come with just, hey, this that cut and paste. It's got to be real. It's got to be relevant to the situation at hand. And let's begin an example. How you gonna come over here with a universal, and I know you're gonna set up, well, this person's over projects, this person's over that. But here's the argument, and I'm dealing with Mr. Carson. How you gonna have the same philosophy in a slum and blighted West Tampa compared to Chelmside downtown CRA? They ain't the same. There's no way you can say downtown CRA got what we got over here, man. Huh? No, you still got some bad houses over there. But right, exactly. But I'm saying you can't have a generic grant thing that says all areas got to fill out the same application. All areas got to do that. Ain't gonna fly. We all have unique characteristics. Otherwise, scrap all the community development plans. Just have one for the whole city. Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. We got a different community development plan. Then we need to have a different approach to solving a particular problem on that community development plan. And ours is up to date. We got one of the most modern, up-to-date community development plans. Some places like East Tampa ain't had a community development plan done since 2000. Oh, 20 years ago. Okay, but whatever. So, but I'm getting at is that, please, we don't want to hear one shoe fits all. We want to hear that these grants, when they come, we give you a head warning them. Because you see how they get passionate in here. That, we want to have ours tailored to the needs and the necessities that we have. And those statistics about how many people poor out here, how many people are struggling out here, and code enforcement just tell you how many violations out here. So I'm just saying, because I do not want to get back in this wall that I did. Took 20 years of my life fighting the city in court, investigating, never done for all, I don't wanna do that again. You know, I'm 70 years old this year. But if you go ahead, Mr. Let me get back to script. We ain't gonna get out of here, people.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
many organizations, I go to many, last week, I went to Tiger Bay Club. They were supposed to talk about one thing, but they ended up talking about something else. It's something that everybody, when we start talking about affordable housing and grants and something like this, if they start talking about the senior citizens aging in place, and that means allowing people to stay in their homes, helping them get them home so they can stay. And like I said, it keeps coming up at every meeting. Somebody has something to say about aging in place. Because if you can do it physically and mentally, I mean, I want to stay in my home, you want to stay in your home. But when it comes to the point your house is falling down around you, then it just upturns your life completely. So that's something that we need to look at when we're giving grants. The ARP makes you a senior citizen, by the way, when you're 55. So, there should be, in the grants, there should be some kind of consideration for people that want to age in place. That's one thing. And just one thing very quickly, tomorrow, Tampa City Council meeting. I don't know if it's Dennis or Harold or if it's, they're going to, finally, the interest that the CRA money has accumulated is going to be split. I think it's $2 million and some dollars between all the CRAs. I have been asking while I was in the budget committees, what happens to the interest that the money is generating? We have had 12 or $15 million sitting in a bank account for 3 or 4 years. There should have been some interest, even if it's 1%. So tomorrow they're making that. So you might want to watch and see just how they figured that.
It's easy to figure out because we dealt with that in COVID. When COVID hit, that's when we said, well, how are we gonna find some money to help businesses? And they started looking at that interest and then they found out, is it in the CRP plan for that area? It was the only area that had emergency in our CRP plan that for pandemic, remember that? If it did say pandemic and community development plan, you couldn't use it. So they scrapped that. However, it came back that they wanted the interest that our money generates got to be put back in our area. It can't be going up to another CRA. You start doing that, and I'm going to Tallahassee and shut everybody down. You start forcing around with take the money that is from the West End CRA that's drawing interest on a bank and talking about using it on another CRA. I'm gonna be the first one to go to Tallahassee, resign from this, and I'm gonna go up there and tell everybody, shut up all down. That's illegal, wrong, and it shouldn't be like that.
Well, nobody said that's what.
No, I'm just saying, they want to try to do that. Like they want to try to say, let's shut down town.
I guess he knows more than they do.
Yeah, I do. And I know the law. And the law says that you can't generate money from a CRA and take it and put it in another CRA. That ain't gonna happen. I'll resign and go to Tallahassee and tell shut it down. I start a campaign to shut it down. That's how strong I feel about it. Crisscrossing and mixing other CRA's money.
Going back to what Ms. Wynn said about trust. People are not stupid. They see developers coming and building, getting variances, getting PUDs, getting different kinds of opportunities, getting things waived so that they can make money for the city. But then somebody who owns a single family home that needs to get a grant to repair their roof can't get it. So people see that, and then it's like, and then why should we support the city when the city doesn't support us? And that's the feeling that I think a lot of people have. And that's the thing we're gonna have to address.
Yeah, that's gonna be our biggest challenge. Like it's broken.
He's right here waiting for the person that just brought up. He's almost gonna be forced out of her after told the social on that about getting the roof repaired, and then she contacted Philly. And it's no work for her.
So
And she's elder than I am. I've been here 5 years.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Could you share her information with me?
This is on the coattail of our grandparents.
Say that again?
It's on the coattail of our grandparents.
Yes.
They put a lot of.
Let me see.
Yes.
And so, quick question, just follow up. Will they be covering all the grants, including housing, next week? And the next meeting?
They will be presenting on housing as well. Yeah, so
Okay.
we have commercial grants, housing grants, but they are two separate departments. One will be the commercial grant administration and the housing team will administer the
Do you know, will the down payment assistance program be included in that?
housing. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, yes. And I mean, I'm glad we had a discussion on the grants. I had a whole nother idea in mind. But, you know, it's all organic and natural, and I really appreciate everyone sharing that, and it did help foreshadow, so we can come correct. Okay, so my plan, of which we will expedite now, is you have some information with you, and I'll allow you to take it home with you, digest it, if you want to talk about it more, if you want to request me to come back and ask questions, I would be more than happy to do so.
That's the vision.
So, yep, so one attachment is the strategic update. This is just the timeline of when the restructure was approved, when I got here, and everything that we've been doing, as well as what we're working towards. And I'm inviting you to join us in the momentum and the progress and, you know, build together and kind of break down these walls, because this is not my community, this is your community, and it's my job to listen and liaison effectively. So I need all of your help implementing this. So you can review that. If I go through it, we will be here all night. But the main points are, I want you to be aware that the CRA board adopted a new mission, vision, and objectives. So this is big. It's not just like, oh, we have a new mission and move on. I'm holding people accountable to these objectives. Mission, vision, great. Objectives is forming into the baseline of how we make decisions. We have 5 different focus areas. We got affordable housing, economic development, connectivity and infrastructure, quality of life, and community engagement. So those are going to be the 5 focus areas, and then there's 3 goals broken out under each one. And if someone comes to us and wants to partner, they need to point to the objectives that they're meeting, and that's their responsibility. So if anyone wants to partner with us, they need to show that they are meeting our objectives, 2 or more. And that they are meeting the objectives of the community redevelopment plan. And we're working on a project prioritization matrix right now, where we can filter projects through, score them, and make a decision. Because my concern is, how are we making these decisions, and are they fair, and are they equitable, and who's getting grants and awards and who's not, and why? So I completely hear the conversation that happened there. So please review those and hold them close to your heart. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But I just wanted to let you know, part of the rebranding, we've refreshed our mission, but those objectives is really what I'm going to be holding people accountable to. As we start to roll out these programs, the projects, solidify our objectives, we're going to start working towards key performance indicators. We have to know what we're doing before I know how to measure it. So there's kind of a sequencing of events that happen. But my end goal by October, I love that you gave me grace till October. I'm working more aggressively than that, but I'll take the challenge. Here we go. But I really want like a public facing dashboard that you can access at any time of the day and say, where are we at? Like, you know, if we have a certain amount of funding in the budget, a certain amount of money allocated for each grant, then I can unit that out into how many grants we should be administering per year, break that into how many grants should be going out per month, and then monitor that and provide an intervention. So, you know, they need to be issuing 5 grants a month, and I look into it and they've only issued 2. I'm like, all right, that means we need to do 7 next month. And, you know, just want to let you into my leadership and coaching.
I understand too, now that's one piece, but we have some major grants out there.
Oh, yeah.
Called Ray Park 2.2 million. That's the grant, all of them grants. I don't know what CRA made that grant, but all of the grants. Grant to the city for the park, 1.2 on South City's Park. I hope you finish transition into this project.
Yeah, I'll get off the tape. Exactly.
One thing about grants and anything else that I think you said, I heard you say it 1-2 times. We need to have metrics.
Gotcha.
And this has been the biggest problem. Y'all know it. I want to see you show me that it's working. Show me some metrics that the mission, she just told us, the mission, the values, strengthen communities, the, tangible, all on these pages have some metrics that we can measure progress with, a measure that's actually working. Otherwise, we need to revamp it and come up with something new. So I assume in your conversation here, you're gonna, and I know you will, have some metrics, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to this.
And I need you all to help me figure out what those metrics look like. And, you know, it's collaborative. Like, I'm not here to come tell you how things are gonna be done. I more so have questions for you all. So that pretty much concludes my strategic update for now. You do have another handout. It's the updated CAC policy. I hope you've received this already and had some conversation on it, but I did want to let you know that there was a few revisions, such as the absentees. You can miss no more than 3 meetings without losing your seat. We have a new travel policy where the chair can attend the FRA conference. We set a limit to no more than 15 members per committee. Ybor did receive an exception as a result of that, so she relayed some of the information. And the biggest thing about updating the CAC policy is that Ybor and East Tampa were tied to different community groups, the YCDC that you may be aware of, and then also the East Tampa Revitalization Partnership. And the policy separated the entities from the CAC, and we're helping transition and sustain the YCDC and the partnership so that they can go on for way longer than the CRA is in existence. So that was the purpose of really updating this policy. And I just want to make sure you have the latest and greatest copy. I'm sure as you look through, you're going to have more questions, more ideas. I am trying to make it all work. I know I look like I have it all together, but it's really busy. So if I am, don't respond in 24 hours, like just give me grace and know like I'm here authentically, which hard to find sometimes. But I am here to help. I am working day and night, and like you guys are a priority to me. And also thank you for being here. You are volunteers. You're giving your time, your energy, your knowledge, your skill set, and I don't take that lightly. And my goal is to make sure that this is worth your time. And if it's not, then let's not waste it. I did volunteer management. Like this is what I do. This is what I love. And just thank you for being here because you don't have to be, but you're like choose to be. This is a choice. So thank you. I look forward to engaging you all more. I'm not going anywhere. And I would like to pass it off to our senior project manager, Melissa Martinez. And she's prepared an update, like a real-time update. We'll get you the long list that Jesus had. That was in December. She's got it. And I'm gonna stop talking.
Before you go,
Yes, sir.
we'll be following up with Mr. Hernandez, public appraiser for
Enriquez.
Enriquez.
Bobby Enriquez.
Yes, I have you the home tax exemption.
I'm dead. That's been overly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And
Do you have a bit more?
I've got a long term.
Yeah. All right, let's roll.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Melissa Martinez. I am a senior project manager for the CRA. A little bit about my background. I have 25 years of experience in construction management. That's my background. I have a license in construction management. I have license in the residential contractors, also for plan review, and I'm a building inspector. I've been working for the city for about 18 years. I've been working with CRA since November of last year. And I'm happy to give you a report. I do have Jesus 10-page update. What I wanted to explain was his update included both what we call CIP projects, or the project that I'm going to be managing my team, which right now is just me. I'm managing all 9 districts at the moment until I finally get my people on board. It's been fun. No, I love construction. So then what I did was I kind of narrowed down to the projects itself, and then the grants team will probably give you an update on it. Some of the studies, if it's not there or not, then I'll go ahead and give you an update in the next month. 2 items that I really wanted to bring up is item 3 and item 6 on your list. If you can give me until next month to get an update, I wasn't able to contact city staff to be able to get an update on what's going on with the project. So I will be willing to have to come back next month and give you an update on those 2. So that's why you have kind of like a summarized, smaller page. But I'll be willing to have to give you the other one that Jesus has, because that's the Bible that I took from. So South Spark Improvement, design build. So, I, went ahead and I contacted, solid waste to figure out, because I have to do cleanup on the land. They're using a grant, or we're using a grant to pay for some of the costs, and the grant goes as a calendar year. So what they did was in December, the only thing that they were able to get off of the grant was the $1,800 invoice. They didn't want to do any more work in December because they would not make the deadline for them to submit to get reimbursed by the grant. So they stopped work and they started already this past week when I started doing this. So they started work doing that. At the same time, we had quotes to install the fence around it, around the property. Unfortunately, the quotes that I have were back from, I think it was March of last year.
That's when they were supposed to put it in.
So I'm not able to use those, but I already sent that out. I'm actually be having bid backs by Friday. And so hopefully I'll be, in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to get, now the process, I don't know if you know or not, I would like to explain it. Because I like to hear the air when it comes to processes within the city. When I get a bid from the contractor and I select the contractor, I have to create a purchase order. The purchase order has to go to the purchasing department. They take about maybe 3-4 days to then approve it. Once it's approved, is when I can give the notice of commencement to the contractor to come and do the installation of the fence. And it will also have a wraparound. Yes.
You lost me. Which part are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I was looking at Main Street, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I want to get scared. You said fence part, not fence.
No, it was, I'm so sorry.
So which one you talking about? Big part?
So, okay, the Southeast part.
Yes.
Number one, I'm so sorry, I apologize. Okay, so the fence was already installed with this one. And then right now, I'm working with the Parks Department. We're reviewing the 60% set of drawings for the design of those scenes. I am trying to have this contractor come next month to do presentations of both South Seas Park and Ray Park improvements to start then getting the motion to move forward and start the construction. Questions about South I see.
No, you said next month plus the grant presentation.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I'm just processing.
if there's no time on the agenda, I can maybe send an update email to the committee, so you guys know whether we're going for March. I was thinking about doing it in February, but February might take the whole meeting for the grants.
Or do a special meeting for that, for the month.
Are you wanting project updates?
No, like, I'm thinking like February meeting, where you said that the grant team's gonna come, and then she's going to do an update on Ray Park and presentation on South Sands Park. They're both critical.
I have a feeling your grant's gonna take some time.
The grant's probably gonna take the whole meeting. We schedule another meeting for the parks, because they are significant. We don't wanna lose time. We don't wanna wait till March.
I would recommend we stay as long as the business needs to get done. Adding another meeting is, you have every right to do so, and I will have.
I think that seems a bit more.
But, I did move the work forward, and this is a conversation of, we want all the work to move forward, and the meetings just might be pretty packed. So how can we keep the business moving, or we would put a time limit on these presentations, after this is a conversation of.
In front of the chair says the agenda.
That's what.
I mean, like,
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Right now, we expect to have it, this go out operate right now until otherwise said, we're gonna have the grant, we're gonna have what this lady talked about. And somebody get the coffee and stuff, but we need to get this moving. And I understand, and we meet, that's the problem. See, we have one meeting a month.
Something's gonna get.
Move on, let it finish, go ahead on, right now, let's just plan. I got some time to figure it out, so let's just plan, we're gonna put them on there, and we'll just cut a limit. I'll go ahead.
Sure. Ray Park improvement design, right now, the design firm is using, they have 2 community meetings as well as a survey. So they're putting all that input into a report to then come and present it for the findings. So I'm gonna jump to Main Street.
What was some of the drawings on Ray Park? I heard 60 on South Seniors, what was on Ray?
The Red Park, what the firm is doing is putting together a report of findings from the two community, meetings.
Okay, right.
Also from the survey.
So they haven't really got past conceptual yet.
Correct.
Got it.
So the Freeman Linear Park, that's one that I'm asking for, continuance to the next meeting. I wasn't able to get any information on. I know there says that there's a requirement for the community meeting in surrounding neighborhoods, and there was some closing of streets, but I have not been able to get to good mobility and the other stakeholders.
Well,
I want
That's
to
the
comment,
Sure.
because what you, something they have a resume discussion with the internal city staff to discuss opening, leaving, or closing the street. May require community meetings. It shouldn't be a may, will require community meetings. They should not be making those decisions on that park and those streets without the community and CAC being involved in it.
But Sandy, the thing is, like, they need to come to a consensus internally because there's a disconnect between fire
Right.
and the police, like, as far as like the fire wants them open, police wants them closed. They need to hash all of that out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm just saying, I just like they may require
No, yeah,
community, you know.
I agree with that. Yeah, they make a decision.
And that's been the holdup.
That's been hold up.
And the reason they were closed is I've been here when it was open, when they closed. The reason it was closed because of a lot of carjackings in West Tampa. There was a clear exit to go straight down, all the way from Matfield, straight down and hit Rome and jump out and in the privates and disappear. So those streets were closed because of carjackings in the 80s. All right, so that's why Mr. Garcia said, because he put this development there, that they need to be open. And we need to talk about that. Well, it's never been, we don't vetted that. We don't have Google discussion in the last 8 years about opening and closing that. The problem has been getting the city, fire department, and police department to make a decision. Fire department says that they can't go down and turn around in that little small cul-de-sac because a house did catch fire down there on the end, okay, and burned up, okay? Somebody needing, emergency assistance, it's hard to get emergency vehicle down there and for us to turn around and come back. So that from the fire department, it's a life safety issue. But the police department, it's a safety issue. And linear park ties into that. Because it's linear to that crossing, you know, cut through the park, I mean, you know. So, if they open streets up, we may be able to reclaim land and build some houses on that end there. When the street open up where that bed end was, you might put a house right there. Okay, so, but that's something that's, hopefully you can resolve, get it, like Bobby said, get the city to make a decision, okay, because we already know what we want to do. Okay, but we need the city, the departments, I mean, we hear them all the time, but they ain't made no call yet.
We can go either way, but
Yeah, it can go either way. We don't know what the decision is.
Right, but we need them to, they need to get their act together, and this has been the thing is that 1 minute they're for it, 1 minute they don't know. Now you got the developer saying, walked in here and just left here saying, you need to get the streets open. So he's saying that, but he's gonna put millions out to get that factory stored and put those 12 or whatever his townhouses there. So anyway, remember, thank you so much, thank you.
Number 4, the 21 Main Street. Okay, update earlier.
That was the one you was up there.
The fence, yeah. So I'm working on that. I put the fence and the wrap around while they're still doing the abatement, the environmental cleaning. Number 5, we have a parking study contract that the phase it was completed. I just put next steps. I really don't know when we go, once your study is completed, where we go from there. What's the accomplishments, what were the recommendations, and whether you have read the report and whether the recommendations are the study and see what parking is.
If I may.
Good news.
As far as the parking, yeah, that's completed, and the next steps were implementing some of the recommendations. And I believe we're, again, this is things usually discussed in the subcommittees, but this, I think the first recommendation we wanted to do was permit, or for the city to look into a residential permit from the neighborhoods as recommended in the study. And also looking for where we could build some business parking. But this I think, and remind me, Joe, were we going to hire somebody to implement these things?
That's why we put in the consultants, okay?
Right.
We put them line, we had a long discussion about them consultants, we put in there, okay? And so that's, but, once again, I'm a director here to say, once we do a study, like a parking study, how do we implement the recommendation?
Exactly.
So I'm gonna,
The whole thing.
all right, so I'm not, that's your answer, see? I'm going on with this, because we're gonna have another one come up called the Allen study. How do we implement the Allen studies, right? I'm gonna throw it back over to her, let her come up with that. She says she got some guidance, so that's one answer. Is, let's see what they come up with about, they let them get their feet wet, and we got somebody here that's knowledgeable in construction. Let us know, okay, we got a study, we done paid for it, let's get it off the shelf, let's start implementing some of the things. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So number 6, with the Tampa Quick Bill Program, any comments for me to come next month?
Quick bill? Well, that's one that I believe, I thought we had funded that, because remember they did, that's the one we did the street striping. Well, they did it on the west side, outside the CRA, on the west side of Maine, the west side of Maine on Maine. And we said, wow, they're gonna bring that over on this side. We're supposed to go all the way down to Delaware, I think, to do the same type of striping and all.
I thought the quick bill was gonna be separate funding sources.
Well, then the quick bill, that's mobility more stuff on the street. The other one is the one where the commercialization of Main Street.
Main Street.
That's a Main Street, that, you know what I mean? We got so much going on Main Street, man, and then we got private developments gonna happen. So, and I had to bring that up to Carson about, because he was saying that he would ask, and I said it was a work in progress for us. The actual, well, remember the students from South Florida came and helped us out with coming up with all that? Right, with that Randy Ross and all them. And so, we decided, okay, that looked good and this and that. So we got that. And then we said, well, we go, once again, it's an implementation thing. Once again, it's like, what's the recommendation? I can go from there. This mobility thing came about as a way to deal with some of the parking. Strike them up, although there's some people say, the solid waste, you put the can out, then Mr. Pursuit will tell you, you can't get it, cause problems. Okay, we got that. But that's where we are with it. It's just a working, the actual commercialization that did us, and in South Tampa, I don't know what street it was, Euclid or something, there was a street in South Tampa where they did, and they said, Carson said at the meeting Thursday that those people said they rejected what the city did, they want to start all over. I don't know if we're gonna start all over, reject the city done. I think now that we have some help here, that we need to find out where we are with it. And if she could just come back with where we are with, where's mobility with
Yes.
bringing that striping or whatever they were doing on that side down. Now, my thing is when you start doing that, hopefully we don't impact any of the development that they're doing on Cohatch or anything dealing with the Freedom Park, 2101 Main Street. In other words, if there's stuff going on, you stripe with the streets, don't have to tear it all up because you got some development that's going to tear it up. Because they still got fencing around the Cohatch stuff. You can't walk on the side, but it sort of got the fencing there. So before we start running like that with all the mobility and striping there, and then we got fencing on from South City's part.
And then kind of plays back to like the whole Main Street commercialization.
Right.
And like they need to work in coordination.
Exactly. Well, we got some help
They're
there.
like, hey, are we going to do vertical or
A horizontal, right.
parking?
We don't know. That's why I told them when they asked me, I said it's a work in progress. And now that we have you here that, I'm sorry to say you, Mrs. Martinez, Mrs. Martinez. Now that we have you and you're actually getting into these, you understand construction, you shout it. We got money, but we ain't got no implementation. But my director says she gonna figure out a way that this gets done. Once we got a study done, then what do we pick off of that and prioritize that we can do right away so people can see that we're moving forward.
Oh, I like it.
I'm loving this.
Yeah.
All right, but you gotta get with us on how we get recommendations from the study that Mr. Ramirez said to get the rolling. And if we don't have the money in it, then we need to make sure that a motion made that we recommend the board put money in it. So it happens. Okay,
So just,
And you also have the urban planner, right, on staff.
not yet,
but-
Not yet.
not yet.
That could tie that all together.
Exactly.
Correct, that's what we're missing. So like I said, I'm giving them time. All right, no, you can go ahead on. So that's what's happening, that Mr.
so on this one, and just to let you know, the December 4th update that Jesus had, it had 100% assigned and high level cost estimate to be provided to CRA staff. So that's what I'm trying to find out where the cost estimate
Which
is.
one is that on the quick?
That's not that's still 6, yeah, no. So just to let you know.
Okay.
The other thing is just an FYI, there is an infrastructure meeting that happens every 2 weeks and it includes every department, at least stormwater, water, wastewater, from the city, also CRA, and it's also about that, trying to coordinate when you have projects going on, that we're coordinating with each other and not building something and have to tear it up 2 weeks later because now it comes out of the department. So that's also, we work on that as well. So moving to know, any questions?
I just want to make a quick comment about this alleyway study. And this is mainly for your information for the, we had basically three different projects having to do with alleys. The first one we started out was cleaning out the alleys where people, where they needed them, where they were either overgrown or something. Then we had an alley survey because there was questions about which ones alleys were vacated and which ones were cleared. That has been done and it was prepared and has been presented to us. There are still questions that Mr. Robinson has, but that has to do with city staff. The alleyway project workshop that is coming up has to do basically with changing alleys from liabilities to assets and getting the feedback. But it has, even though the city is the one, staff is the one who found us the vendor for that, they basically, this company doesn't have the answers. There's still some answers in the air, and this company does not have those answers. This is strictly about the liability to assets and what we'd like to see done in those alleys and where they would like them put. So just so you have an idea
Okay,
about alley emphasis in West Tampa.
okay, thank you.
You said something key, is that Jesus was supposed to have had some bids out to hire people to clean the alleys up. Okay, that ain't on here. So the alley project is one thing, but there's a project for cleaning the alleys on a continuous basis. And that's not on here. And he.
And if I may interrupt you,
Go ahead.
because this is considered to be a program and not a project. So we have, now with the restructuring, we have the people that does the grants, the group, they do grants and they do the program. So the program is like a clean team.
I
And sort of do the, if you need any kind of, like, something on a monthly basis.
That's on the-
Continuous, yeah, that's a continuous, it's a monthly basis, you get contract with the company that comes in to do that, that's a
So that
program.
makes,
That is.
so we're gonna have somebody, you come in and give us that programming, projects?
It should be, it's part of the.
Who would that be?
And under grant,
It's gonna probably be the manager, because the manager is supposed
We
to
got
be
no-
forefront. It's probably gonna be Erica Irving fills in. I could volunteer and come and bring.
I see, so the program.
So it's just,
it's a.
so
we have a-
again.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. Yes, yes.
List here, I
Yes.
saw it, but I had to split out.
I see, so that's
That presentation,
not showing up.
that's why we're correct.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so so who's gonna come with that?
Correct.
So we need to have somebody, that, much like this Martinez is dealing with the projects. Come look at Jesus' list and snatch off the program items and come and give us an update.
Okay,
Correct.
Can that do that?
correct. Yes.
Mr. Chair, I apologize, I gotta leave early tonight. I don't-
We ain't voting on that.
I usually stay till the end, but I gotta go.
Go ahead, take that, leave it. And thank you so much. Next month, man, this is gonna be a long week, so bring your coffee. All right, go ahead off, man.
Okay, so the number 8 is the alleyway is, you all have the information, you mentioned the CRA board about having the community workshop meeting on January 25th. Number 8 is the acquisition of the property in 1940 Westbrook Street. I know the property was purchased in April of 2023.
Yeah.
There are some items I sent, as I was here, I was sending Terry from building maintenance. An update, asking for an update on what the pricing of anything that's pending on the home to be able to do that, and then figure out what we're gonna do with the house. We know
Will
that.
that become a part of but once you guys fix up the house, will it move into the program segment for how we going to utilize the house, or will it stay under project?
Program, because once it's done,
Once you
my
guys,
project is completed, so then we move it into
The program.
how we're gonna be using it.
Yes,
okay, that's when it falls under housing.
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And also like
Yes.
when we're assembling land, of course, you know, we're looking to always purchase, so that's all under housing.
Okay.
I thought we couldn't own anything, had given it to the city.
Yet to be determined. I mean, they have a debate about
So
it.
1940 West.
Whether it's kind of in the city, CRA, the city controls it.
It all
That's the city.
We use, is our money. Yes, Yeah.
What's,
But no, here's the
what
deal.
are we gonna do with
But
it?
here's the deal.
that comes under my
Well,
program.
here's what Massey said at the meeting, of this issue such stuff. If you have money in a CRA and you plan on purchasing something, then the money has to be used for that purchase because you're purchasing it to do something. So once you get the acquisition of it, then you need to do that something that you purchased the real estate to do it. So if you bought vacant land to do affordable housing, then you need to develop that as affordable housing, not change it to something else. Because that's what your original intent of the purchase was.
So I'm assuming we bought it for affordable housing.
Per house.
So wouldn't we be talking to the affordable housing department?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
that was one of my concerns.
I
When
remember.
we built, when we were gonna, what are we gonna do with it? Nobody, there was nothing determined, there was no projection. And I never recall us making a decision about why we were
In fact,
purchasing that piece of property. I mean, I think the assumption would be that it would be for housing.
this is love for housing.
Yeah.
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 In combination with the other 3 properties next door.
Correct, but the guy with the southern, that's. what-
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, yeah, it was very vague, let me put it that.
It was for housing, it's not gonna be for small business, it's for housing.
And there will be housing.
It'll be a housing.
Program for housing.
It'll
Yes,
be programmed for housing.
yes, which
Okay.
is part of.
Because Jesus said, mentioned in his
The
page that
restructure
it
has
was
a housing
temporary housing,
component.
some transition stuff.
Mention
That-
that. On the way.
Or housing departments then.
Well, we'll have our own, if you see, based off of what Jeanette provided, well, she had before, we have enough, we're gonna have our own housing section under the CRA. So that's part of the restructure.
Right.
So that again, well, this is just what I call land assemblage. We're assembling land. So we can make sure that we put out for attainable housing or whatever the board decides. Right now, attainable, I call it attainable because there's different levels of affordability. So let's just say attainable housing, right now, that's, you know, that's the point. You have to buy whatever land is acquired
Right.
for anything that comes out, correct? So that's all I know about that.
The last item, thank you, the last item I have on my list is the potential to proceed gating of a Powered Avenue. There was a quote provided to the CAC and it's pending CAC inspection and.
We already voted on that.
Yeah.
We already approved that.
Yeah.
We approved that for $8,000 in a motion.
Okay.
It's my understanding, you know, I think they just put all the notes of meeting on that website, so. There's a lot of things, that's one reason we started that Jesus list, is because we're making motions left and right. And then we come back here 2 months and say, wait a minute, ain't nothing happening, I thought we made a motion.
Okay,
So I believe on that when we voted on that.
so
I remember.
I'll go back to the meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
For
That's-
3
that's-
months and then go from where was it, we can add it to this update and then start working on having.
And the other thing is that you might also want to look at the final approved budget Because the unapproved budget should list some of these items in there that's been if it's in the budget, that means it's been approved by the CRA board and it's official. Okay, so the way I would work it is I would looking at budget, the final adopted budget for West Tampa, and sort of tie it into your capital projects list that you got going. That'll give you a little bit more information because it's a little vague around and something.
Okay, sure.
Anything, Mr. Net?
I don't know if this is on the December master list, but, the North Howard Avenue resurfacing, I know that that's a county project.
Yes.
But I think it's critical for us to keep abreast of that project. And also, we had directed Jesus to communicate with the county about, I'll call them bulb outs. Everybody looks at me funny when I say that, those things that are constructed, because we wanted to have some resolution about whether those can be removed or if they can't.
Sorry, what was the requirement? I missed that.
The bulb outs, you know, those structures that you see all around Howard and Armenia. Well, now that they're doing the resurfacing, this is the time to address whether they're gonna stay, whether they're gonna go.
Carlos can probably answer that question for you, because he's been following the project.
Think you.
But I know they're also, they're getting all new sidewalks on Howard.
This is, I just,
So,
that's why I went on the list.
It's trim too, because they responsible for the trees out there. That was in Jesus's. We added the trimming of the trees because they're on county right away and they haven't been trimmed in years.
In other words, the county needs to be notified about our concern with the bulb outs and what the intention is now that they're doing that
But see, what
process.
happened was the county had a window for commenting. And if you scan the actual big sign they had up about North Howard Avenue, which I did, you can go in there and comment, but that period is gone. So, you know, 'cause they're gonna reduce the speed limit down, you know, 40 to 35, all it's 30 over here when you get on the north side of the interstate. So, and but that's gonna happen, but we need to have, like Jeanette saying, someone to just let the county know that we have some concerns about the bulb outs, so that we put that for the Super Bowl with planters that don't have no water. And about the trees along Howard, when you get on the north side of Howard, north of the interstate, that we want them to be diamond cut, hurricane cut, those palmetto trees.
Okay.
Palm trees. That they be diamond cut, because you look at it, now they're going into the wires, going into the building, and they don't look decorative.
Okay.
It would be a tremendous, eye candy to have diamond cut. And because we also have pedestrian lighting on Howard, as well as the lighting up above for the streets. And they're gonna run that pedestrian lighting thing east of Main, east of Howard, all the way down the boulevard. They've already got it from Boulevard up to about, Rumble. And our mission is to bring it all the way down to the main court.
Okay.
But,
All good.
all right, moving right along, and
That's it.
the deputy gating, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
For like, for the school on Union,
so what,
school
Crossing?
fencing, the fencing for the school.
what school?
Um,
We approved 98 $1,000, that's a program.
that's program.
We don't learn something like program and projects. We learn nothing else.
Anything else? Thank
Oh, you
you.
did very well. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. All right, moving right along, we already know about the annual meeting on the 25th in Oregon. And I canceled some tickets because of that. Okay, I canceled a lot to get to that. That's costing me, but that's all right. Y'all wanna go through these, did we cover all those during our discussion, the CS, the different committees?
Thank you.
very quickly.
If anyone got a card ready, go ahead, Mr. Sanchez.
Okay, our culture is first motivation. And this goes back to what, I'm saying, and me too. Every time I watch the CRA and all the other CRAs give the report, I get sick. We have the soul walk, Robin and I, and the group has still not gotten in touch with Delphine about participating and putting the things that are in West Tampa that have to do with the soul walk. I watch them talk about art and all the different CRAs. 3 years ago, I did a presentation of art in the city. I have to send it to you just this year so you can see. Nothing has been done about that. We asked to do lighting under the bridge at North Boulevard, which is something that goes under also Robin Myers did, maybe it's mobility now. And that's a project that should have moved forward. We voted on everything about it, except we were waiting for Tampa Heights to participate in it. Those are things that, the big things that we worked on before. And like I said, I watched Ebor getting all kinds of artwork done. West Tampa is doing nothing. You know, art and culture, we're doing nothing. Even though Delphine has expressed a number of times, and it's in the minutes, that So Walk is supposed to come into West Tampa and all the areas that she has highlighted that should be acknowledged. No one has talked to her about it. So that's the main thing. I understand that we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But other CRAs are moving forward and we're still in the same spot. We're still treading water. The end.
Anything else, Ms. Sanchez? Ms. Delphine, wait a minute, hold up, Ms. Delphine, Ms. Maloney had her hand up and gets.
It's not gonna change. Do you want to say anything?
I was just gonna I was just gonna mention, the West Tampa alleyway, updating the website. I wanted to mention for the public arts that we do have a position posted.
We do. So we currently are advertising an arts and culture position to help with these art projects because
I
this is,
understand, but other CRAs are moving forward without that art, the head of that art department for CRA. That's what I'm saying. I mean, why are they moving forward? Why are we waiting for you to hire somebody for art at CRA? That's the question.
yeah, we can have one.
Well, that's just like they got, wait a minute, don't you go nowhere, we got a few, man, just gonna be late tonight, y'all just get mad at me. Y'all will be over there in 30 days. She's correct. The same thing, Jeanette, about Mark. And sleep with it, what people do. Go over there and grab the contract the last year and spend $100,000. But Mark, he's still sitting there waiting on the so-called marketing person that's gonna handle all the CRAs. I brought that up at the meeting Thursday, okay? Believe I covered everything y'all talked about tonight, just about. So that's another example of how, you know, we left behind, but I'm very patient because one thing I know, Mr. Fancy, is if we ain't got nobody that have done it yet, I'm also trying to get Darryl Shaw to like that readjust because of the women's soccer over there. The other side, that, cause see, Tampa Heights ain't got no money. They like nothing there. But if we get Shaw to take care of their side and we take care of our side, and then we get the bridge split up. You get me? So, but you're right. And Mrs. Moody, that's the issue. We see these inequities in other CRAs and what they're doing. But I can tell you this, if we're not doing anything, guess what? Our money drawing interest. So it'll be there for whenever we get somebody there, and you can see that they're strategic saying, we know we need a person in arts. Because Robin and I can't do it on our own, and we've been dealing with that because I'm gonna tell you something. There's talk, I tell you this popped up. The Soul Walk, it's done been on the radio, TMP twice. It done been on TMP twice this weekend, talking about getting they want to steal my recipe on my grit and all the things. That, you know, somebody told you I was gonna give it up like that. So they want to steal these recipes, not steal, but they want to have these recipes, but they're giving it to, I think, at the end of this month, to give all that, I make a mean, great fun, being pie.
Okay, great stuff.
And then, but then Parcel said that he ain't supporting the Riverwalk on this side from Cash Street to Blake. Someone's gonna cost $100 million, and I can't see that costing $100 million. What are you talking about? Because the river walks all the way from Platt Street this way. And then it's already walked behind Blake. That's already there. Stops right there at the baseball field. It just, so what are you talking about? Okay, so I didn't understand when he says $100 million and he's not gonna be for it. Cause, you know, it's not 100 million because he had interest on it. Cause he's trying to tie it like, Hannah, we pay so much, now you gotta pay the interest. He's tying it like bells, it costs 45, and really need 80 costs of interest. And I'm saying, look, man, we're swallowed by the air, it's been neglected. I don't care if it costs 200 million, we want our river walk over there.
It's fine to
And
say,
he want,
the original grant of money that was given us, I think we started with 50 or 60.
you know, it's $24 million that we got for that river walk.
Okay, the $24 million. So it has continued to increase and increase and increase.
That's because spend is added and added and added.
Exactly,
Well, good, it gets added and added and added.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly. So all he's questioning is, tell him where the money's going. Don't just tell me all of a sudden it's gonna.
well, you know, my thing is this, we wanna walk, we're gonna get a walk, else I'm gonna go do something. I'm gonna go do something.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know what to do to get everybody around here straight. CD, us, and them. Okay, I know what to do to get everybody straight, so everybody calm down, because how you gonna have the soul walk if ain't no river walk? 'Cause that's how you get across here with the river, with the soul walk. And then that's got to go up into related development. You understand? So anyway, hopefully, when we have these updates with the housing piece, that we'll talk about what related's doing. That ain't on nobody's chart. They're directly involved with what we're doing with them, with the culture center. So there's other projects that we need to be aware of. Okay, let's move right on, Ms. Tench, Mrs. Jones. I would, then, because I want to get back to Ms. B now, because Ms. B ain't just standing up to the standard, so we're gonna let you communication.
So the soul walk is part of the strategic plan, that's in stone.
What's that?
The soul walk is part of the strategic plan, for historic things to be in there. Okay,
Yes.
so while we were discussing this, because I don't know what Paul's talking about, it's gonna happen, it's like you said. And then also, I just wanted to mention that on the historic part, after the drive-in, used to be across the street from the barbecue field. Joe Collier and you know, that was back in the day. Well, anyway, the brothers who used to own that, they moved up to Atlanta. So they did documentation or documentary up there in Atlanta and did a big show, but they want to come here to Tampa, PA on February 18th. And they're gonna, document their journey from Tampa to there. So I just wanted to mention that. That's, County Commissioner Myers' family. So I wanted to mention that. And then also like, Sandy was saying, I still haven't connected with Robin Nye. I did connect with Kathy Casper's office because, trying to connect with whom I rise and with the, River Walk. And get some documentation because she was the one that instrumented the thing for her to be up in Washington. So that's like a connection. She was a halls of Washington. With the food footprint, our president, Mayor Butler. And Walton, library,
Okay,
Okay,
Ms. B,
okay, I can go.
communication,
Hi.
and then we got some announcements.
Okay, so of course, you know, West Tampa alleyway, Thursdays. Please just invite more individuals, but you know, that's happening Thursday, Martin Luther King Junior Center. You, of course, seeing the signs in the community, I did the same outreach effort, with the millers and all of that, news release went out. And then I'm going to, you know, just get it on social media, which I'm currently doing. Updating, I'm doing, that's a continuous process, but I am updating the website continuously. And you do have a congressperson. My name is B Parks. I extend out to West Tampa, across the other areas as well. And we're diligently working to put together some plans, communication plans and strategies to move this communication forward. I did complete the RFP for the third party person to oversee all of the areas. And that is going to be moving up the chance to administration, and let's start that dialogue that was completed. That was 6 months of research, everything that everyone wanted. I visited every single CAC, and got all the information from all you guys on what you want to see come out of your area, including anything with community outreach, social media, virtual, face-to-face, publication, all of that is in here. It is a big, RFP, and it's going to be very competitive out there. So, I just wanted to provide you that, because that came up on, last Thursday as well, but that was already.
Who happens to have the website update?
I do,
That puts the notes of meetings on there.
I do. Now, I will, like I said, I communicate with the managers on a weekly basis. Now I'm gonna be next door to them to say, hey, I need whatever I need from you to post on this.
Okay, we have Mrs. Martinez,
So I-
instruction, are you like
I'm-
assigned communications?
Yes, so I'm.
For the CRA?
For the CRA.
Glad to hear.
So I do, this is what I do, Mr. Joe, really quickly. I do website updates, I do social media, I do flyer design, I do the yard sign design, I do the mailers that went out. The quarterly newsletter that you guys receive, everything that put together the community meetings is underneath. I could put that on record that that's what I do. Alongside anything that I have to go out and talk about. I'm also doing CAC trainings that are coming up in March and April alongside our other manager that's going to talk about, just retraining Robert's Rules of Order and all that great information. I'm FRA certified, so I also assist with other items. Yes. And of course, I told you guys before, I told you, I mentioned this, and Joe probably knows me from back in the day, but I mentioned this before. My house, my background is housing. That's why I'm able, when I was talking with Bobby, we had this, subcommittee. So when I insert things about housing, you can't erase, just like the engineer part, you can't erase that from you. So you kind of just give insight as much as possible. But everything that has to do with communication, you guys have my contact, please reach out to me, because I want to involve you more in my social media. So I will be walking the streets with you soon. Whoever, just to say from good, positive, stuff that's coming out of West Tampa area, so we can, put that on our social media. And then you see the link screen that went up, that's timely, communication steps, have our contact out there. So, that's me, okay?
Would it be possible to get bigger yard sign, like the county used, like,
Yeah.
so like when you're driving up Howard, you see it, but you can't, like, you go 40 miles per hour, like, but 35.
Yes.
Like what? Like, no, it's we like some, in some key spots, like where, okay, if you're gonna be stopped at a red light, they could be able to like see the sign and read it.
I've had a lot of people say they want to see that.
Yes, so
They're going forward.
if you guys tuned in probably before the holidays, you would have seen that they had a big discussion about that at council.
Yes.
So they do have, those signs are stating approved that I put out.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for them to produce the larger scale ones similar to the county, and have them figure out how, facilities will install those signs for us. Right now, I'm putting out one.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, the big ones have the wood stake.
Yes.
That needs to be hammered down.
Yeah.
So I'm good with construction, but I don't.
That's about comparison.
Right now, I'm putting in my own sign, so I'm waiting on that.
You could, like, yeah, they like,
Yes.
you see the sign,
That's what's being, Mr. Secretary.
This request before, the CRA goes to Kennedy Boulevard. There's almost no signs south of I-275. There's arch in all the streets down there, they all have alleys, it would have been interesting if they got more information about it. They have out, like I said, all down Northside Park, going towards Howard. Those people are all involved, and it's the same complaint I made when we had the program on economic development. All of those signs were put on Main Street, and what we got was all the businessmen on Main Street. But what we really want, we want new businesses to come in for economic development. So there should have been more signs, especially in Northside Park, that actually has some people They have money.
Where did this go to?
I put a sign on Kennedy and I put one there.
I know, but one, all I'm saying, you got 30 signs here, and then you have 1 or 2 over there. I'm just saying.
Spread love.
CRA, the CRA is bigger than just,
I put over 50 signs, but I'll see if I can.
but if you put them all north of I-275, it does not get the rest of the CRA and the West Tampa Cemetery involved. That's all I'm saying.
It's big.
Yeah,
It's big. It's big. How many did you put down now?
2,200.
Took all the residents within the CRA.
So I have a tool that the city uses for their community engagement, their neighborhood engagement side. And it's called property and export. And what it does, it brings up the CRAs and then you just trace the entire CRA and it exports the registered property appraiser information for that area. And that's what I use for film sources.
Okay, Mr. Tina.
The newsletter,
Yes.
when is that gonna?
That's quarterly, and right now, the last one went out for the holiday edition, so I'm working on the newsletter. I think of always, the spring. Yes, I do have the marketing area, the marketing firm on eBoard that does, help with the eBoard side of it, because that will go away once the new one kicks in. But, I handle the general CRA. Yes.
I just have a question about getting to residents who are not property owners. How do you reach them with your social media or with your advertising or your direct mail, whatever it is you're doing? Because there are so many renters, and if they're not on the tax roll, they don't know what's going on.
Okay, so that, good question, and, I exported from site addresses as well. So that's why over 2,200 went out, because it registers both site address to whoever the current resident is, if a current resident, and then they'll have that address. And then it also sends it to the owner, just in case the owner can attend, but I do both.
Okay.
Because I think of that, the rental population. Again, it's only me. So I have to
Spare time.
do that.
Also, to, building managers.
Yes, that's what I do as well.
Okay.
And I cover that downtown channel, those major buildings. Like right now, I reached out, to building managers in Central and Tampa Heights because that's me.
Plus, let me add to this, okay? That is why other CRAs are taking our model. They have 9, now soon to be 10 neighborhood groups represented here. You represent North High Park. I got 2. So it's incumbent upon us to let our people know that our members are affiliated with our groups, to let them know. So there's 3 at large now, but there ain't gonna be the 2 at large down the road there as this thing evolves. So it's incumbent upon us, our organizations, that we get it to them so that they know and they can tell somebody. So that's why whenever I get something, I shoot out to people on the email list of the West Tampa CDC, let them know, and then they can tell somebody else. So that's why our model has the neighborhood organizations instead of just the 3 at large, which will end up being 2 at large. And that is why we need the housing authority, Mrs. Moody, because then we can tell them to take care of everybody in West River and everywhere else that they got around here that they renting to. Okay, and that's a major issue, getting them involved, because then we can have that one-on-one with them. Because I know when we had the safety committee, we had Mr. Jackson, who is the security man of the housing authority properties, and this issue with the taxes would have been dealt with. Not the third party person that's overseeing the property. See, when the way the housing authority works, they don't oversee the property, they hire a third party to do that. You understand? They have somebody managing that. They don't do that with the staff. That's an outsource. Mr. Jackson is an employee over safety. But anybody told the manager to do that. So you start talking to the person running the apartment complex instead of the person over safety. They may say, well, we can't afford to do that. But Mr. Jackson, we can make this happen. Mrs. Tina and then Mrs. Sanchez.
Just very quickly, B, have you thought about, since you're the one putting up the signs, that mayor's youth for, they would help you with that?
I could reach out to them.
I mean, this to give you some help, and that's a legitimate volunteer group, so maybe they can be the ones that have
You'll see what's in mix.
Yeah,
They need to get busy.
that place.
We spend a lot of time on forums.
Parks and Rec, some kids.
So they put a sign up for us. Miss, Tina,
It was a question for you, Joe. Do you know when the person from Tampa Housing Authority is supposed to start attending the meeting?
Mrs. Movie.
Yes.
Just move down.
Thank you right now, but what needs to happen is we need to reach out and ask Tampa Housing Authority to bring us forward their nomination and representative. And then, they would fill out an application and then.
Yeah, they got to sign the application and all that good stuff. But the thing is that I don't know why we haven't, we got they were able to get everybody on the east side to fill out everything. And I know the housing authority, that should take 10 seconds for them to pick somebody that they want to represent them to sit over here. You know, all right, moving right along, closing this out. Next meeting is February. Is there any announcements? And Walter had an announcement. And I don't know if he wanted to say it, Bobby has over here about the fishing grits.
Yeah.
So can we get Walter on? Can he be unmuted to say about his, sorry about that long wait, Walt, but we had announcements. Now, can we hear you? You gonna, get your mic on, sir?
I cannot mute him.
Oh,
He can mute himself.
You gotta unmute?
There you go.
Yep, I'm unmuted, I guess. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, well.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the board this evening. We have Fish Grits and Black History coming up again this year. This will be the 5th annual one. We were cut short because of COVID last time, but we are going to do it again. This is a fundraiser for the library as we approach efforts to do renovations and prepare to open up with new programming. So we need to make sure that we're doing as much fundraising as we possibly can for operations. This will be on Saturday, February 24th. Saturday, February 24th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We will be welcomed in by the African drummers as usual. It's a call to gather, and we will have three panel discussions throughout the day. We also will have a feature by Fred Hearns, historian Fred Hearns, who will be able to speak about the issues surrounding disappearing Black communities and the history around those communities. We are going to have issues around environmental justice in Black communities and the history of environmental justice in the Tampa Bay area. And there will be a lot of other discussions that will take place throughout the day, but we're going to have fun. We're going to have great, intelligent discussions. And the admission is $25. It's $25 per plate if you purchase beforehand, and $35 a day of at the gate. All right. You can go to our new website, which is at wlsmithlibrary.org.
Okay, that it, Walt?
That's it.
All right, before we run out of here. Address? Address.
Oh, 905 North Albany Avenue. The physical address is 905 North Albany Avenue, the corner of Cypress and Albany. And we'll also, you can also go to our website, which is wlsmithlibrary.org.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. One final thing before we run out of here, because I want to get rid of these and give them to Mrs. Moody. First, with a special use affidavit at North Amelia Avenue, Craig and Gina Rains, application SU1-2411, that they're asking for Joe Beluccia. is the representative of that request. 33, Red's application for rezoning at 3203 West St. John Street, RS 50 to CG Cemetery. The REC on that cemetery? 23-1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros and 93.
That's a very big one. That's gonna be very.
3203 West St. John Street, RS 50 to CG for a cemetery. 1911 West Beach Street, RS 50 to RM 18.
February 8th, Mr. Chairman.
What's the rezoning on this, the RZ number, please?
On that one, that's REC 24-000006 zeros and 8, and that's on February 8th. Some of these might be old, but I've been sitting on, because I'm bringing them to have a meet, but suppose they go out. And then there was a good neighbor notice of 1910 West Gray Street, side yard setback for 3 feet for a carport, front yard, request design set for 3 feet to 0 feet. Sheriff Ross Fennell is the request here. I think they're already here on that, but REZ number, well, this is case number DEI, design exception 1, DE1. It's design exception 24-5 zeros and then 12. The next one is 1206 West Lemon Street, REZ 22107. They're going on current zoning as a PD. And PD's rezoning had an error on the 2-story elevation that we included in rezoning. We're requesting approval to build 3-story townhomes.
The RZ number?
Says application number, SU is application for substantial change review. SUB 24 with 5 zeros and 3. Design exception 1, again, 2521 West Beach Street, reduced setbacks. Case number DE1 23-264. Oliveriana Silverio. 1206 Lemon Street again. This one is REZ. Actually, they have REZ 22-00107, and they went to now substantial change review, which is now the current request 24 with 6 zeros and 3 SUB John Lum. Oh, it's in 22.
What's after the zeros, 2 numbers or 1 number?
The sub stands 24 with 6 zeros and 3 last number. Then the REC that is leading. And to go to the sub is REC 22 with 4 zeros and then a 107. And then 2213 West Woodland Avenue, extended family residence, application for special use 1 development, current zone RS 50 SU 1 24-6007 by Louise Alonso. Okay. And then the last thing too here is to add 1 residence unit over clubhouse, 2111 North Albany Avenue. And that's not this. The applicant is Ralph Schuler, JD Architect, 2111 North Albany, add 1 residence unit over clubhouse, sub dash 246005. And the original application was REZ 21-85. And the final one is at 1324 West Spink Street from RS 50 to RM 18. Applicant is John Love.
Can I have that one?
Look, all I'm doing is giving them this one with the loan.
Because we've complained that we haven't gotten notification, and obviously we might.
Well, they said all of this is sent to me of the West Campus Salary Advice Committee to my street address, all of these. And what I do is I keep the envelope, so that how I got it, and I bring them here at the meeting and read them.
But Northwood Park should have gotten that.
I don't know about that.
But what I'm telling you is, we have complained that they didn't send notification. Obviously, they have, so we have to.
Well, they might get this notification and then have to extend it. Mrs. Moody, what I normally do, read it at the end. For 2 months worth, I don't know what y'all reading. But, because what happened is some of them are not necessarily, but people like to know what's going on. And so for some reason, they sent it to me, the chair. I think they sent it to all neighborhood groups is what they do. It's to some of the chair that been using my address. And I think Carlos gets some as well now. Because he was complaining when he became chair, he wasn't getting it, but I think both of us get them now.
Okay.
So I read them in because it does just that. Somebody says, hey, wait a minute. What about that? Hey, wait a minute. What about that? That's it. I'm trying to keep y'all along tonight, but it's been 2 months. And you see how we roll, but I'm very passionate about this, playing with this, housing and this grant money. So we will keep the grant on the agenda and
Let's do projects first.
let's,
I mean, like, yeah, the presentation first, because it's hard enough to follow up quicker than the grants.
yes. So
You can go ahead.
let's do that. And I'm gonna talk this long, but since this is the first meeting in 2 months. Well, I just have to let the city know, man, that we ain't going backwards now. We're not gonna go back and play this game and, taking people talking about just conversation. Especially folks, but I can't take another 20 years of my life with that. So, all right, with that said, is there anything else? It's adjourned, man. 8:25. Man, where you been at, man? I'm coming out with a man.